Know if you can see and hear me okay. This is going to be a group energy healing where I heal during the stream. I heal 150 people in 12 different countries. And this energy healing has a theme, a double theme, healthy family boundaries, which I'm just going to say as family boundaries, and proactive clearing for this and the next chapter in your life. Ooh, thank you for my confirmation. So family boundaries, but also proactive clearing for this and the next chapter in your life, which often I've done those as separate themes. But I figure we're doing this theme for both sets this month, and it just seemed right. So it's going to be interesting to combine them. Interesting and good. It seems very timely, you know, this and the next chapter in your life. You know, many people, they consider like the new year January, although in different parts of different cultures, New Year is at a different time of year. It's not January 1st, but whatever. So, but you can also have a next chapter in your life when you are, you know, moving, getting a new job, just changing yourself inwardly in some way. It can start a new chapter. So proactive clearing, the idea is that you want to clear energy blocks that are triggering you and bothering you today and in your way today. But proactive is like, okay, for next Tuesday's work meeting, I want to proactively clear what will most likely what would most likely get triggered during that meeting, so that then I can be more in control and flowing and present during that meeting, right? So that's proactive clearing, where you're intuitively picking the blocks you already have now that are going to get you in trouble later. And you get them out of the way. You clear them so that things are just smoother, easier. Because a lot of times there are challenges. Sometimes there are challenges that, you know, you're supposed to go through, but a lot of times there are challenges that are unnecessary. And if you clear them in advance, then they don't have to happen at all. You know, or just like you can think about it as like a degree of stressfulness of a certain day, and it's not like each day it's set in stone. You know, you can work it in advance so that the day goes more smoothly for you and it's easier for you and more fruitful. So that's the idea with proactive clearing. Family boundaries is pretty clear for everybody what that means. So sorry, I said stream basics. I also mean that we're going to talk about the theme. Themes and stream basics. So we already just talked about the themes for this set and the next set. So all 5 healings this month, this set of 3 and then this set of 2. The set of 2, you could still purchase that on my website, jwhealing.com. Also the December healing sets, there are some spots for sale still for those, if you wish, on my website, jwhealing.com. Okay, so stream basics. So for people that are totally new to my work, what you might not realize is I'm not healing everyone that's viewing live. I heal the people that purchased the healing in advance, like 2 months ago. Or actually now it was even for sale like yesterday, which is unusual. Usually I cut it off way in advance, but through the end of the year, at least I'm sort of trying out, you know, I have the initial sale 2 months in advance when most people buy it, just in case they can't buy it later. And then, you know, there are drip drabs of people that buy it after that. And I'm leaving that open and even adding spots so those people can drip drab in. But don't take that for granted, because at some point it'll just be too many people and I'll market sold out. So, anyway, the stream basics is, yeah, that I'm healing a set number of people. I have their names on lists in front of me. That's my focus. That's my goal. However, obviously, there's a secondary important goal of teaching the techniques that I'm using, which is why I explain out loud as I'm working. So I talk out loud as I'm doing the healing, except for the first like minute or so. So it's like a walkthrough, an all levels walkthrough. So even a professional healer, a fellow professional healer might find some items of interest and enjoy it as a walkthrough, and all the way in an intermediate person and even an adventurous newbie could find a lot that they could, use and do as a walkthrough on themselves. And then within a day, it will all be timestamped. It will all have little chapters that you'll be able to see right there at the bottom in white font. And if you click on one of the chapters, they'll all come up, and then you can see, oh, that section was only 7 minutes. Let me do that one. Oh, Anyway, that's that. That's the basics. Also, I heal using gold light. That's what I would suggest that you do. You just set your hand chakras and your fingertip chakras with your intention. You set those energy centers that you have, your fingertip chakras and your hand chakra, to be a metallic gold color. You don't have to see energy to do any of this. Vision, clairvoyance tends to develop over time for most people. As you get more and more present, your chakras unblock, and the abilities within your chakras become more accessible to you on a conscious level, like intuition, vision of your own energy, feeling energy with your hands. But you can try to do it along the way, and just don't be frustrated if you don't have astounding abilities from day one. It's okay. They're in there in your chakras. The more present you get, the more unblocked you get, the more likely you are to be able to use them consciously to heal yourself. Okay. But in the meantime, you can wing it, and it works quite well without vision, just with your intention, with thought. So that's the basics. So then, so defining terms. Maybe I don't have to say welcome anymore, even though everyone is welcome. You're welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hello, 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 everybody. Hello. So today it occurred to me that it would probably be good to just lay out some definitions of what I mean when I use a certain term. And I'm going to kind of blow through it pretty quickly, though. But I'm going to define most of the major concepts that I'm going to be using in today's live stream now. And there will be some that are new even to someone who listens to all my stuff. So when you hear the first couple, you're like, oh God, Janet, I know. Just don't fully tune out, keep listening, because there'll be stuff that's not, obvious as I go through the term list. Okay. So the stuff that may be obvious to the veterans, obviously, would be astral body and physical body. So physical body, obviously we know what that is, right? Astral body is the part that's actually you. You have your body, your physical body, but that's not you. You are an eternal spirit, and you have the part of your energy that the part of you that can be fully present in your physical body is called the astral body. And it's like your spirit takes the form of you make an astral body with your angels, and that's the part of you that comes and goes. When you fall asleep, your astral body goes to the astral with your angels, and hopefully you stay with them, and you learn and have fun and hang out with your friends in safe astral locations, yada yada, right? But then when you wake up, your astral body comes back to your physical body, and ideally in all your physical chakras, so that you are fully present. Your astral body 7 chakras can ideally fit into all your physical body 7 chakras one by one, so 7 and 7, 6 and 6, all that, so that you become fully present. So, but that's not true for most adults, probably, I would say. Most adults are less present, or not present in some of their lower chakras, but it is better to be in all your chakras, all 7 of your physical body chakras. But for most adults, it does take a period of time of like clearing and healing and repairing and just getting good at that stuff, so that you can be consistently in all your chakras all the time. but it is possible for anybody that's old enough spiritually to like kind of be drawn to what I do. It's possible for you in this lifetime. So anyway, that's astral body and physical body. The next thing is that was astral and physical. So then this is so trauma blocks, etc. So there's going to be a lot of stuff related to trauma blocks that I'm about to explain. So what do I mean by trauma blocks? Well, what do I mean by trauma? Trauma, you know, a traumatic situation is a situation that was not fun at all, right? It was hard to go through, right? So, you know, it could be well, I don't want to list a whole bunch of traumas. Trigger everybody. But you know, bad things can happen, right? And it, you know, they're hard to process at first, right? And so your energy tends to block up to lesser or greater extents, depending on how present you are, how flowing you are in general, how likely you are to avoid and repress versus clear it on the spot, you know, whatever. But trauma blocks are energy blocks that were created during a traumatic experience. And that can include even like an argument that you might have with somebody, or even a situation where it was a discussion, but offensive or triggering things were said. One of those people, or both of those, or all parties involved, can get stuck enough that those are also trauma blocks. So you can have trauma blocks from something more relatively minor, or obviously something very big that you went through, or a time period that was very hard to go through. You can have trauma blocks from that. So obviously some blocks are little, some blocks are, you know, more significant, right? More weighty and would impact you more than others, right? But they're all relevant because, you know, if you want to be as present as possible and have good boundaries with family members and neighbors, etc., clearing trauma blocks, we're going to dial it down this time today to a more detailed level than we have previously. I've sort of hinted at this deeper level or extra level of specificity before, but this will be the most specific and detailed that I've been so far about trauma blocks and how they impact boundaries. And as usual, it is easier to do it than explain it, so fear not. It's pretty simple. Once you get the concepts, it's like it just makes sense, you know? So, but that's why I'm going through the concepts first, right? So, that's trauma blocks. Okay, so that's defined. Now, you can have your own trauma blocks from something that you went through, right? But you can also dump a copy of those trauma blocks in somebody else's space. Not good karma to do that, but usually it's done subconsciously, so people don't actually mean to do it, usually, but it depends. So, for example, on a spirit level, subconsciously, someone might feel like, well, you did this to me, right? You treated me in a certain way that was traumatizing to me. So I'm going to give you copies of my trauma blocks. You did this to me. You did this to me. You know, here's the copy of my pain, right? And that is pretty common. Not good karma to do. Not the worst karma, but definitely not good karma to do that, right? So ideally, don't be a dumper, right? That's what I call it, like being a dumper or dumping, right? Where someone, and so, you know, the stereotypical easy example is like if you talk to somebody and they talk to you about the problems that they're going through, and all of a sudden after that you feel like heavier and more exhausted, even though it was like an amicable conversation. They possibly dumped, right, copies of their blocks in your space. So it doesn't mean that they're a bad person. It's really easy to be a dumper. I have dumped plenty of times in my life to people, you know, whatever. So it's try to step away from the judgment of it, because that will, especially because that will make it less likely for you to be open to knowing when you're doing it. Because if you automatically think, well, that makes somebody a bad person, then you don't want to be a bad person. So you're less likely to see as you're dumping or just after you've dumped. So it's better to take the judgment off it for many reasons, but that's one of them. It's just a practical thing that you don't want to, demonize dumping, because then it might become taboo and you don't want to know you're doing it and you've done it and blah, 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 right? So, okay. So that's dumping. So then another concept related to dumping trauma blocks, copies of trauma blocks, is being a thorough dumper. So a non-thorough dumper, typically when they dump on somebody, they'll just dump a copy of their trauma blocks into that person's physical body energy system, right? Because I explained your physical body is not your astral body, vice versa. Like your physical body is separate from your astral body. Ideally, though, when you come in, they're both in the exact same place, but each one has its own aura, its own grounding, its own chakras, right? So a thorough dumper, what they do is they dump into that person's astral body energy system and that person's physical body energy system. So that's a thorough dumper. A thorough dump or thorough dumping is when, so say, I find it easier to imagine trauma blocks as like easy shapes. So like say the trauma blocks that we're talking about, and also healthy and gentle, right? You don't want to think about all your trauma blocks that you've ever had in all of existence, that still are around. It's too much, right? So just do what's healthy and gentle, especially with a topic like this, right? So let's say you had a healthy and gentle, like we'll do the most healthy and gentle amount right now, just for the example, so that you're not at all like fuzzy brained about it. So say your trauma blocks look like 3 white crates, or 3 white boxes, right? So if you were to thoroughly dump that in someone else's space because you feel like, well, they did it to me, right? Or another reason, the reasoning might be subconsciously that you want them to know how you feel, like misery loves company. So, like, I shouldn't be the only one burdened by this. This is no fair that I went through it, and everyone should know, everyone should feel this too. I shouldn't be the only one, right? So that can be another sort of stuck reasoning why somebody would do it, right? So, but if you were a thorough dumper, you would put it in somebody's, and please, I never recommend that you do this. It's bad karma for you. You will pay extra bad experiences. Don't do it. But say if somebody did dump their 3 crates of trauma blocks into somebody else's space, if they were to do it on a thoroughly, they would put 3 white boxes, copies of the 3 white boxes in the person's astral body space, and then another 3 white boxes of blocked energy into that person's physical body energy system, like say their aura or one of their chakras, right? So that would be thorough, where you're dumping not just, boom, one time to the physical body energy system. You do both physical and astral body energy system. So that's a thorough dump. Okay. And it's more likely that person's going to feel crappy from that, like sort of double crappy in a way, and stay stuck longer, because a lot of people, they tend to not clear energy blocks from their physical body energy system. They clear more from their astral body energy system, like say when they go to sleep, or if they do like, spacey kind of half asleep, tuned out kind of meditation stuff. They're only, if they're not mindfully clearing both, then they're just clearing their astral body. So like sometimes like a yoga teacher, for some reason, when I used to do individual sessions, when I would read yoga teachers, their astral bodies were like really cool and unblocked, and their physical body energy systems were like still super blocked. And I mean, nothing wrong with yoga, of course. Yoga can be very beneficial, but I don't know, just an example. So anyway, that's thorough dumping. I'm just defining it, right? So the worst boundaries problems that, you know, the most extreme boundaries problems, energy safety problems that I've seen are in a situation with double thorough dumpers. So, in other words, like the mother is a thorough dumper, and so she wants all her kids to feel her pain, because why should she be the only one who's suffering, right? So she dumps copies of her pain into her kids' astral body and physical body energy systems. But then the kid, who is an adult now, and possibly one of my clients, is also a thorough dumper. So the kid is dumping into the mom's astral body and physical body energy system too. So why is that such a problem, such a boundaries issue? I mean, obviously it's bad karma for everyone all around, but why is it such a boundaries problem? It's such a boundaries problem because it's really, 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 really likely that people are gonna like connect the dots. Like people are gonna accord when they have the same trauma. There's going to be energy cords in between them. It doesn't have to, but it's sort of like the default that keeps happening, right? So in a situation of a double dumper, double thorough dumpers, then it's like this cord festival, but it's all subconscious and it's hard to notice because it's like your trauma, and who wants to notice their own trauma, you know, blah, blah, blah. And so, but we're going to do it carefully. We're gonna do it methodically. We're gonna do it carefully, so that you're more likely to get out of trouble more safely. Because there's another term that all the veterans know, which is backlash, right? And so backlash is when somebody whacks you because you're growing. So what is a whack? Whack is somebody throws energy. Really bad karma. Never recommend it, but it's super common, so you have to know about it. Right. So someone can throw blasts of energy and really big ones, and even like, you know, at intervals for hours and hours, you know, at somebody else. Why do people do that? Because they get stuck on subconscious anger, rage, jealousy, resistance, bitterness, resentment, yada, 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 yada. Right. So they just get stuck on it. And it's like a broken record. And so they keep throwing blasts of energy. They can also, with the whack, they can throw hard objects as well as just a blast of energy. But either way. So, and the reason a whack is a big thing is because it can cause damage, right? To the auras, the chakras, etc. So if you're freaked out right now, just ground. Just, you know, be aware of your, you know, make big groundings this big, all the way down to the core of the earth. Bring them up high as your third chakra. You know, right below your sternum bone, that's your third chakra. So make your groundings that tall, that high up, you know, and make them both red or orange or yellow, the same color. Whatever's going to help you release the most, right? So believe me, I'm trying not to be triggering as I define all this stuff, but you know, I can't really control that. So, okay. So anyway, that's like if you really, 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 really have backlash issues with somebody and consistent boundary issues with somebody, even if you've been working all these techniques all along regularly, it's probably a double thorough dumper situation. But there's hope. There's always good news in energy healing. So we're gonna do very careful techniques so that, you know, you let them clear their original trauma at their own pace. You clear stuff out of your space at a healthy and gentle pace for you. And, you know, and then you're not weighing down others with copies of your trauma. So there are things that you can do right away, and then there are things that you just let the angels do at a pace that would be good for the other person. So I'll be explaining all that at, you know, in an explaining section, you know, before we do the work, you know, and we'll clear trauma that's yours, just a healthy and gentle amount. You know, we'll just start small, or, you know, just a healthy and gentle amount of stuff that is your trauma, meaning like you're the one that originally got blocked up about it, right? And so, but even that, we're going to uncord, you know, we're going to imagine it in like some simple way, like 3 white boxes, or, you know, 4 black laundry bags full of dirty laundry, you know, and so that's the visual representation of your trauma that you like. Yeah, but you're going to imagine just a healthy and gentle amount and uncord. You know, wash all the cords off at first. Even if it's your trauma, you're going to just wash all the cords off of it before you clear it. Because you don't want to like ruffle anybody else's feathers as you're doing this, you know, so to speak. You don't want to trigger people unnecessarily, because especially some people tend to whack, you know, very aggressively if they are triggered by somebody else. But there's a way to do it so that you're, you know, the benefit of doing this at all, because you might think, well, this all sounds pretty violent, Janet. I think I'll avoid the whole topic. But the thing is, you know, the boundary issues exist. And so the less trauma that you share with other people, you know, whether it was originally theirs or yours, the easier it is to have boundaries with those people. Healthy boundaries with those people. The easier it is to have flow and presence when you're around them, when you communicate with them, even, you know, remotely, whatever. You know, it's just, or subconscious communication, which happens all the time. So it's safer to not have all that shared trauma. And most likely the backlash people are less likely to, your backlash people are less likely to whack you, because yeah. We'll leave it at that. Let's see if I defined everything. Yeah, I think so. So you can post, you know, and I'll talk about it after the healing if there was a definition that you don't understand that I gave. But yeah, so those were the terms: astral body, physical body, trauma blocks. What are they? What's a dumper? What's a thorough dumper? Trauma blocks, originals versus copies. So you have originals of your trauma blocks because it happened to you, right? And then, but if you gave copies to somebody else, which is common, or somebody took on a copy of your trauma, which is also common, like often kids take on copies of their parents' trauma. But sometimes parents are dumpers, and so that's how the kids get the copies. But it doesn't really matter whether it was taken or dumped or whatever. It's just originals versus copies, and you deal with them a little bit differently in order to be respectful to other people and minimize backlash. But the overall point is, you don't want shared trauma. You don't want trauma, first of all. You don't want trauma blocks, first of all. And you definitely don't want other people's trauma in your space. And you don't want, because you don't want the boundary issues, and you don't want to get blocked up by it. So this way you're safer and you're more flowing, and it's just easier to be present and, you know, be functional in your life. So hope that makes sense. I know that was a lot, but you know, it is what it is. So I will quickly go through chat comments. I have a lot of them here, I guess. I'm going to just glance at them though, maybe, because I can't do a lot right now. I got to start the healing soon. But I will look at them now. And then we'll do 3 minutes of quiet where I finish my prep, and then I'll start the healing. And then there will be a brief chat discussion afterwards. Okay. We can see and hear you. Thank you so much. Can see and hear you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Hey, Janet, we can see and hear you in Chicago. 52 and sunny. Oh, that's nice. It's very cloudy here, as you can see in the whole back room. The back of the room is darker. I didn't have time to backlight it and all sorts of fancy lighting. So I'm glad you have sunny in Chicago, though. That's nice. Someone says, hey, Janet, can see and hear you in partly cloudy San Francisco, California, 59 degrees. That's nice. We probably are 49 and cloudy right now. No, maybe 45 or so. And this is very much looking forward to this set. I've felt a bit rattled. Yeah, I think this should be quite relevant for you, the whole double thorough dumper situation. I think you and your mom are both thorough dumpers with each other. Someone says, "Hey Janet, happy November 1st." Yes, happy November 1st to you. I can see and hear you from sunny Las Vegas, 64 Fahrenheit. Well, that sounds pleasant. Hey Janet, sunny Chicago. Oh, that's nice. Thank you. Hey Janet, super excited for my first live healing here in North Carolina, where it's beautiful 79. Jealous. Jealous in a clean way, but that does sound amazing. 79 Fahrenheit on November 1st, man. Hey, hi from Ottawa, Canada. Windy and sunny. Many beautiful autumn leaves leaving the trees during autumn. Yes. Well, that sounds very poetic and nice and colorful. Glad you're enjoying it. Someone says, I like that. Don't be a dumper. I usually say drain. Yeah, drain is different. Drain is like you cord somebody or somebody cords you and they're drawing your energy out through the cord. So it's different than dumping. If someone's draining you, they don't necessarily get blocked up about it. Well, it's different. It's like the energy block is really chunky and super suck. But if somebody is draining your energy, it does get in their way, but not as badly as if like you dumped a copy of your pain in their space, then that really blocks them up. Anyway, so yeah, slightly different. Different concept. Oh, wow. I guess my mom was accidentally dumping when I was doing her survey with her. I was bummed for a bit afterwards, yes, but must have cleared it because I felt better later on. Yeah, well, I think too with your mom, she has a lot of invasive beings that, wind her up and get her to, talk for like 5 minutes with the same sentence type idea. And so if you don't have full boundaries with those invasive beings that are like running her mind in circles, then, those beings affect your thoughts and how you feel as well. So with her and with anyone that you consider intense, it's also an invasive being situation, boundaries with their being, not just boundaries with them, but boundaries with their beings. So I think with your mom, that's more of a situation. Just because she tends to, like it's sort of like a tornado going around her with all the invasive beings. And so, obviously the healings help stabilize her, but, it's still a thing, still an issue. So that's a big part of it. So yeah, later on you got those invasive beings recycled that you had gotten from her. And so that's why you felt so much better later on. So she was not dumping at that time. Not to say she's never dumped. She has dumped, of course. Anyway, hello. At the intro, the intro is very insightful. Thank you, Janet. In case of double dumping, is it possible that these same copies of blocks are being dumped over and over again? Potentially, yeah. That's probably less common. It's probably just that the there's the two, like, okay, this is person A, this is person B. Person A dumped copies into person B, the copies are still there and the cords are still there. And so the person keeps sending energy through the cord. And so you keep feeling it. So most likely, I mean, in the situation between you and your mom, you're both double thorough dumpers. So that's why there's just so much that you've dumped into her space in both astral and physical, and she's dumped into your space in both astral and physical. So it's like it becomes very tangled. So today's healing should be really interesting for you. Also, your daughter is the same way. She's a throw dumper as well. You try not to dump with her, but if you like sort of lose your temper with her, then you become a throw dumper with your daughter as well. So yeah, but today should be great to start working on that in a healthy and gentle and safe way. Someone says, is there a way to take the dumping from what you dumped from your children? Yeah, in other words, take back what you've dumped. And yes, and that's what that's one of the things we'll work on today, although it's important to take it back at a healthy and gentle pace, because taking back what you've dumped in somebody's space will provoke like growth and change for them. And so you want to be like sensitive to how much growth and change they can handle at once. Like even if it's in some way a positive thing to take back what you've dumped, if you've dumped so much in somebody's space over the years, we're going to have the angels help with that. So the angels will do the pacing on the take back of what you've dumped to people into other people's space. This is very possible to take it back, and we will be doing that today. However, yeah, calling it back at a healthy and gentle pace, asking the angels to call it back for you at a healthy and gentle pace is a big deal. But I mean, you know, chances are too, you're going to be just dealing with, you know, like you don't really want to do, I would not recommend, unless you just want to get sick for no good reason. I would not recommend doing too much at once, you know. So every aspect of this we're just going to do what's healthy and gentle to do. You know, like say if I had, you know, 400 white boxes full of unprocessed trauma, today at this moment I might do 3, you know, or 5. You know, I wouldn't be doing 400 because I don't want to, you know, it would not be compassionate or smart to do. So you just only notice, you want to only see what's healthy and gentle to do at this time. You know, keep it friendly, keep it doable, keep it kind of interesting. And, you know, you want to get to that geeky fun kind of range where you're like, oh, this is kind of cool. This is kind of cool, you know, and just keep it in that safe, gentle, geeky fun kind of range. Someone says, hi, thank you. You're welcome. This is, hey, Janet, happy to make it live. Looking forward to today's healing. Great. Welcome. Glad you could watch live. That's cool. Someone says, can see and hear you from Evergreen, Colorado in the United States. 49 degrees and sunny. Oh, speaking of which, the 150 people that I will be healing are in 12 different countries, including 9 kids, ages 5 through 17. And the breakdown of countries, just because it's fun and cool to think about, 114 of those people are physically located in the US, unless they're on vacation and they didn't tell me. 6 of the people are in Canada currently, 6 are in the UK, 5 are in the United Arab Emirates, 4 are in South Korea, 4 in Qatar, 3 in Ukraine, 2 in Bermuda, 2 in Spain, 2 in Luxembourg, 1 in Japan, and 1 in Australia. So hello to all the people that I'll be healing in this healing set. A set of 3 healings. This is the first in the set of 3. Yeah, and of course, hello to everyone that I'm not healing, but you're watching anyway for your own learning and healing yourself as a walkthrough. You are welcome as well. And the schedule of all this stuff through February is on my website, jwhealing.com. Schedule of upcoming themes and dates for the sets of group healings. Lost my place. It's seen here from Evergreen. Yeah. Hi, Janet. Looking forward to the healing. Cloudy 61 in San Francisco. Still working on non-resistance a lot and have been more zen. Oh, good for you. Hubby's still intermittently mad and cranky. Yeah. Well, you know. I was working with a client about like it's okay to be mad. You know, it's okay to have anger. Like it's good in a relationship if you allow the other person, like you're not like some relationships, it's like anger itself is demonized. Like there's a difference between raging at someone and just being frustrated with life, you know, and you don't have to take it out on other people, but you know, it ideally would be okay in a relationship for somebody to be having a bad day or somebody to be cranky or somebody to be, you know, maybe like tiny bit snippy just because they're having a bad day or something. You know, that anger itself is not bad. It's just when it's moderate, you know, but if it's like raging at somebody else, that's a different story. Someone says this is so interesting. So if the person tries to drain your energy through cords, it also affects and potentially blocks them. Yes. Yeah. 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 But you know, people aren't really logical, so they do it anyway. Someone says hi from New York City. Hello to you. For my sons. And you're mentioning your son's names. Well, for my sons. I think maybe you think that I'm going to be healing them, but I will not be healing them. I heal the people that purchased in advance, not just because I need to make a living, but also then I prepare myself to be able to heal them. Like there are energy safety issues. I have to prep a lot for the people that I'm healing, to make sure I have good, strong boundaries and stuff like that. So yeah, but you could say, angels, please heal my sons, you know, and just say, angels, can you please give healings to my sons? Yeah, that kind of thing. That helps. Angels, can you please, you know, and then your angels will hear that. Your, you know, family members, they have their own angels as well, of course. It's just that sometimes when people get really stuck, they're not really letting their angels heal them. And so an extra request from somebody else to the angels, it might not totally fix that situation, but it could help. Like if somebody wants to, you know, thank me and they're like, well, how do I thank Janet? Because she doesn't like gifts and yada yada. You could tip me on my website. But B, you could just say, angels, can you, you know, give Janet a healing or something like that. And that doesn't cost you anything. It's just a request that you give to the angels. So that's a really clean way if you want to thank somebody who's done something for you, a neighbor or something. You know, like last night when I didn't know how to turn off our porch light. So this lady came with her kids trick-or-treating, and we don't do that. We don't hand out candy or anything. But she thought maybe we did because our porch light was on. So she was like ringing the doorbell, and I didn't come out in time because we don't have candy to give out. And so I felt a little bad that she was inconvenienced because I didn't know how to turn off my porch light until after she left. I figured it out. So I asked the angels, I say, angels, can you please give them a healing? You know, just kind of make up for that I, you know, I accidentally inconvenienced them. So that's always a nice thing you can do. All right, cool. So enough chat. Enough. So now we'll do our 3 minutes of quiet. And then, like I said, towards the end of that 3 minutes of quiet, I'll be starting the healing without talking. And then soon after that, I'll explain what I do as I do it. And so that's the whole rest of the healing is a walkthrough. So you could heal yourself, you know, listen to what I'm doing and do that on your own. You know, use gold light from your hands with your intention and, you know, do what I'm doing. All right. So now finally the 3 minutes of quiet. Finally. Okay, thanks for waiting. All right. So you can recreate both your groundings. Create one for your physical body energy system, which has major chakras along the spine, has a ton of chakras in your body, which are super cool, and has an aura, 7 layers. Your aura, the physical body aura. Make a big grounding for that, red or orange or yellow, and then make a grounding for your astral body energy system, which is you as a spirit, and arms and legs and stuff, and has 7 layers to your astral body aura, 7 astral body chakras along your spine. Make a big grounding for your astral body energy system as well, nice and wide. So those 2 groundings, you can make a copy out in front of you of those 2 groundings, and use gold light from your hands and just wash out both your groundings. And make your groundings come up high as your 3rd chakra, which is below your sternum. Your sternum is a bone right along here. And then just below that, that's your 3rd chakra. So bring up your groundings nice and high up to there. And the purpose of your groundings is twofold. You release energy down your grounding to the core of the earth, to get rid of it if it's somebody else's energy, and then it gets cleaned off and returned to whoever it is. And you bring up earth energy from the core of the earth through your grounding as well. So you don't want your grounding to be blocked. So you just imagine the blocks, and they can be like hard, and they're usually, energy blocks are hard. If something seems smoky or moving to you, that would be an invasive being or a person who's being invasive. So you just say, angels, can you recycle this being? If you think it's a being, if it's your mom or somebody, just wash it out with gold light and that. But anyway, we're unblocking your grounding now, so we're looking for the hard energy blocks. So just imagine them and melt them away with the gold light from your hands. And also important for releasing is that the bottom part of all your auras is unblocked too. So like, say from your waist on down, including especially below your feet. Below your feet. So you want flowing grounding. Flowing auras beneath your feet. Because if you have blocks there, it's like a strategically bad thing, because it's sort of like a plug in a tub drain. So you extra unblock your auras. You don't want any hardness in your auras anywhere, but you extra don't want them beneath your feet. You want to be able to just release easily, automatically down to the core of the earth through your groundings. So then, indie grounding stands for independent grounding, and it's common for people to hook their grounding into yours or vice versa subconsciously. So that gets in your way, gets in their way. So just use gold light and melt away any connections to your grounding. So just use gold light and go up and down, all the way down to the core of the earth. Melt away. Any attachments to your grounding. You can have hard objects stuck, like half in, half out of your grounding. So if you find any of those, you can just pop them out and blow them up, or just melt them away, burn them up with the gold light. Because your grounding works best if it's only for you. Even if you have like a 2-month-old baby or something, it would be best for that 2-month-old baby if their grounding was just for them. Because they don't need to be handling, you know, their parents' dramas while they're trying to get some good rest, right? So everybody gets their own individual grounding. Ideally. All right, so that is grounding. You could have invasive beings in your grounding or really anywhere. And I that is sort of a potentially spooky concept, like, oh, beings, what do you mean? Like haunted house? Is that what you're talking about? So that's unfortunate, but it's like, it's better to get rid of them than to never talk about them at all, because you don't want to spook people out. So it is what it is. But you are a giant being, let's put it that way. So it's like, you're this giant, massive, mighty being that has incarnated. You have a life, you have a body. These invasive beings, they're not in your league at all. And that's why they're bugging you for energy. So it's kind of a little bit like an elephant being afraid of like a little tiny piece of bacteria that's on a tiny ant, you know? It's like, you're the elephant, you know? So anyway, but it's good to get rid of that stuff. So you could just imagine your whole energy system, which is all your 17 auras, both your groundings, your physical body, and your astral body, and just make a big giant gold net, like a cube of gold netting that's bigger than you, bigger than all your auras. It goes all the way down to the core of the earth, and just collapse that gold net in to tangle up and get rid of all the stuff that's not you. So like, it could be some of your neighbor's energy, some of your parents' energy, some invasive beings, whatever. Just tangle all that up in the gold net and give it all to your angels. Say, angels, can you take all that? Again, big gold net, collapse it in, get rid of all that's not you, including the invasive beings. Angels, here you go. Big collapsing gold nets, get rid of all the invasive beings, including in your grounding. Tangle them up in the net, give them to your angels. Angels, here you go. And you do have angels, even if you didn't know you have them. So you just say angels and they can hear you. So that's grounding. So let's do something else. So aura repair. You have 17 auras, but we're going to repair them all at once, so it's easier than it sounds. But I've already talked about your astral body aura and your physical body aura. But also, if you're fully present in the same place as your astral body and your physical body aura, is also your 15 Wei Qi auras. And Wei Qi is spelled Wei Qi is spelled this way. Wei Qi. And it's a traditional Chinese medicine concept, and it's referring to your strong boundaries energy. So anyway, you have 17 auras. They're all in the same place. They can have rips because people throw energy sometimes. People whack, right? They throw energy. That can cause a tear. It can cause a really big tear if you have a lot of stuck energy in your space. So whatever. We're going to repair all the rips. And it's easy to do. So we're going to use composite copy technique. You imagine one rip, and you create an image of a rip, and you have that represent with your intention. You say, okay, this represents all the rips in all my auras, and then go ahead and repair it, right? So this represents all the rips in all my auras. And again, just heal yourself. Okay, and clean it out first with sticky gold wax. So that's gold light from your hands that sticks to whatever's not you and forms like a lump, making it easy for you to remove a bunch at once, right? So you have your composite copy rip, fill it with sticky gold wax, get rid of all the junk. Angels, here you go. Again, you have your rip, fill it up with sticky gold wax, lift out all the junk that's not you. Angels, here you go. So what's the junk? Invasive beings, invasive people, and hard objects that could be stuck in the rips, right? So one more time, sticky gold wax, lift out all that junk. Angels, here you go. So then use gold light and get it as deep as you can in the rips so that they start to grow back, repair. rips get less and less deep until they are fully repaired. And if there are any invasive beings in the way, which could happen, just angels, if there are any invasive beings in the way of this healing work, can you please recycle them? Okay, so that probably repaired most of your rips. But you may have one or two that are a little stubborn. They'll have. So we'll do that process one more time a little faster, just for the leftover rips. So create an image of a rip, have it represent any leftover rips. Fill it up with sticky gold wax. Get rid of the junk. Angels, here you go. Sticky gold wax. Give the junk to your angels. Angels, here you go. And use gold light. Get it nice and deep. You still have some hard objects. Get them out. Angels, here you go. Angels, here you go. Okay. So comb through all your auras. Back. As you comb through, you can unblock. You know, just let the gold light melt away chunks. You can comb, you know, the front and the back at one time, the left and the right side at one time. You comb above and below at the same time. Sometimes just, you know, you'll notice different blocks as you do the different things. And also above all your auras. So say the top of your auras here, like stacked up above that, you could have a bunch of blocks. Just of things people have dumped there that didn't actually break through your aura, so they're just sitting on top. Melt all that away with gold. So just check for any little tiny leaks left over in the edges of your auras. Light to mend those up. Double check your grounding again. Look for any blocks, melt them away. It could be that the back half has blocked up since last you checked. So just use a lot of gold light and melt the blocks away. Or some people, it's like the left side or the right side tends to block up more of their grounding. So just double check each side. All right. And you can recreate your gold buffer zones. I have a separate video that talks about those in case you're interested. Those help protect you, help slow the rate of aura damage. They're not perfect, of course, but they help. So just recreate those. If you don't know what they are and you don't feel like watching the video yet, just say, Angels, can you recreate my gold buffers? Smokey, my cat. Anyway. Oh, let's do really quickly. Gold mesh spheres. There are these there's spheres of gold mesh within the Wei Qi auras that generate a lot of gold light. And that's how the Wei Qi auras are full of flowing gold energy. If they're not damaged, then the gold light stays within the aura, and so it's like a nice, flowy, strong bubble, which is how it protects you. And also these gold mesh spheres, they send the gold light inward towards different body systems. So, you know, if you have some body issues, you could double check your gold mesh spheres also. to, make sure they're repaired. So each Wei Qi aura has 3 of them, an inner, middle, and an outer. So you have 15 Wei Qi auras. That means technically you have 15 inner, 15 middle, 15 outermost gold mesh spheres. So they're gold mesh and wrap all the way around you. But anyway, you can just double check. And with your intention and gold light, just look for the ripped parts and repair your gold mesh spheres. Because if they're all shredded up, they're not going to do a very good job at generating gold light. Okay, good job. So creative rings are within your astral body energy system, and they're above your astral body head. 3 gold rings, 1, 2, 3, and they generate gold light also. And that gold light gets sent downward. Mookie's typing for us. So you can use gold, make a copy out in front of you of your 3 gold creative rings. And it can be a big copy, a tiny copy, whatever amuses you. And just use gold light to melt away cords going into these creative rings. And that is very important. And also repair any damage with the gold light. Like you get cracks or broken, missing pieces. Unblock. Well, unblock your 7th chakra at the same time, and all the good energy centers and stuff in the top of your head. Like, imagine the top of your head, and your 7th chakra is within the top of your and then your creative rings are above that, right? So just use sticky gold wax and put that all around your creative rings, inside your creative rings, all the way down to the top of your head where your 7th chakra is. Sticky gold wax the whole thing, including the top of your GV meridian that goes through the top of your head. And just have the sticky gold wax stick to everything that's not you, that's healthy and gentle to get rid of right now. Right? And then just remove the wax with all the junk. Angels, here you go. Again, gold wax through your creative rings all the way down through the top of your head, and have it stick to whatever's healthy and gentle to get rid of right now, including cords, invasive beings, invasive people, hard objects. Lift all that out, give it to your angels. So then now that that junk's gone, just do a little extra repair. Melt cords, repair. Seventh chakras. You have 2 7th chakras. Give a little healing to both of them. 7 chakras are oriented this way with the round opening at the top and the round opening at the bottom. Basic cylinder shape is, open cylinder shape is true for all chakras. Anyway, so you can imagine both your 7th chakras. Just use gold light and unblock them. GV meridian in the top of your head. You can just imagine it like a red flowy tube that goes this way. All right. Good enough. So that's, oh, and double check the flaps. Your creative rings have flaps. So this is what they look like if they're irritated. They stick out like that. And they stick out like that if there are cords going into your creative rings, sending energy that's not yours, that irritates things. The flaps stick out in an irritated state. So all your, actually all the round openings of your chakras have flaps like that as well. But just melt cords going into your creative rings and your seventh chakra so that the flaps are all relaxed and they can just all shut. When the flaps are shut, it's harder for people to cord you. You can have some invasive beings that are a little stubborn, you know. Well, invasive beings generally are stubborn. That's why they're invasive. So you just have your angels recycle them rather than just melting cords from invasive beings. You want to get them like permanently gone so they don't keep consistently bothering you. So just imagine your creative rings, your seventh chakras, and any invasive beings that are messing with trying to cord, you know, being bothersome. Just imagine them like a row of little bushy clouds and say, angels, can you recycle all these beings? So again, imagine your creative rings and your seventh chakras and any invasive beings that are trying to mess with that area. Just imagine them like a row of little bushy clouds. Angels, can you recycle all these invasive? The reason why you would do that in 2 batches or multiple batches is just if maybe doing it all at once is too much for you, your angels would do it bit by bit. Okay. So again, check your creative rings, check your seventh chakras, and see that the flaps are shut because you've melted all the cords. And the rings, they can kind of ring when if you tap them. It's like like a bell, you know. And so if they're too blocked or too many cords, and they won't have a nice resonance like that when you tap them. Same thing with a chakra. You can tap it and it's sort of like a bell ringing if it's unblocked enough. Alrighty. Great job. Okay, so now, oh, sorry about the 63 thing. Smokey must have stepped on my keyboard again. Okay, so now for the part that sounds very sexy. Chakra repair and unblocking. Everything about chakras sounds good, right? Chakras, we're gonna work chakras. So you have a ton of chakras everywhere. There's the 7 major along your physical spine, the 7 major chakras along your astral body spine. But then there's all these amazingly cool acupuncture points in your physical body that are also little chakras. And then you have bigger chakras that are like to keep energy flowing in larger energy channels, like down your arms, up your legs, stuff like that. So lots of chakras. So basic chakra shape of all of them is like an open cylinder, but obviously it would be much smaller than this and potentially very small if it's like an acupuncture point chakra. So the big ones, big 7 astral and big 7 physical, I call major chakras. All the others I call minor chakras, even though they're super cool and super important. Just to tell them apart. So just imagine all your chakras, all major and minor chakras of your body and spirit. So meaning your astral body and physical body. And just imagine them, represent them all by one shape. And then you're going to repair and unblock that one shape, and that therefore you're repairing and unblocking all of your chakras, right? So make your composite copy of a chakra, right? One shape, and just have it represent with your intention. You say, okay, this represents all my chakras of my body and my spirit. And then just melt cords. The cords are going to generally be around the openings. Unless you have like a big gash or something that shouldn't be there, then someone could cord there too. But typically there'll be pairs of cords from people or invasive beings around either round opening. So you just melt those gold light and melt the blocked energy that they're anchored into, that the cords are anchored into. Because the problem isn't so much the cords, it's the energy blocks that you have that make it so easy for you to be corded. So just keep unblocking. You can kind of drag out, you can like put your energy hand through the composite copy and just drag out the blocks and melt them away with gold light. Drag them out, and if you're healing yourself, you can also blow them up. Drag them out, and maybe give them to your angels if you want. Angels, here you go. Drag them out. Angels, here you go. And of course, your intention is you want to clear only what's healthy and gentle for you to clear right now. Go ahead, melt cords, going into all the baggage, all the blocks, melt the cords, and then melt the block. So, and I said, remember I said there are flaps around the round opening that if they were sticking out, they would look like that sticking out. But they're not gold. The ring is the chakra itself. Gold is too fast moving for a whole chakra to vibrate at gold. But just to show you what the flaps look like. So you want this part to be very unblocked, so your energy can come and go through the chakra, but you want the flaps to fall shut, so it's just a smooth round opening. And some of these chakras can be really crushed. So what you could do is then, okay, we've done that for a little bit, get rid of that copy. Now just make a copy of like your worst chakras, right? So the chakras that still need repair and unblocking, right? And so that copy may look really different. Like sort of like a crumpled up piece of paper. And just use so much gold light that it uncrumples. It's looking like a chakra again. And you can do collapsing gold nets around this worst chakras, so big cube of gold netting, collapse it in, drag out everything that's not you. Angels, here you go. Big gold netting, collapse it in, drag out whatever's not you. Angels, here you go. Melt cords, going into this composite copy of your worst chakras. You can have blocks inside the chakras or wrapped around the outside or stuffed in the either round opening. All right, good job. We can get rid of that. So that was chakra repair and unblocking. We did all of them at once, and then we did the worst chakras. Repaired and unblocked those. Okay, so this section relates to in and around your neck and behind the base of your skull and behind your neck in your auras. So GKW, that stands for Good Karma Windows, which are just a part of your astral body aura back here behind the base of your skull and behind your. And you have one in each of your astral body aura layers. And they look like triple frame windows. So what is a triple frame window? You could describe it as concentric squares. Like that. That's a triple frame window. You want them repaired and unblocked so that only the good stuff comes in and not the bad stuff, basically. The good stuff would be your new energy. This is one route that your new energy can come in. Also, like a really light, and you can repair while I'm talking. Just use gold light and comb through these triple frame windows. So there'd be one here, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so just comb through lots of gold light. And you can just check, which ones are repaired enough and unblocked enough that nothing unsafe is coming through them, and which ones still need work. And sometimes it'll just be one. Sometimes it'll be a whole bunch of them, like 7, 6, 5, and 4 windows are all 2 damaged, or 1, 2, 3. Those inner 3 ones are all 2 damaged. It just depends. So you can repair and unblock them all. Just be safe. If you're not able to intuit which ones need work and which ones don't. And you can have blocked up energy in between the windows. So just melt that away with gold light. You can lift out the blocks so you see them separately and then just melt them if that's more amusing for you or easier. You can have hard objects stuck in the windows, like if someone threw hard spears or something. You just surround them all. Any hard objects with gold light, lift them out. Angels, here you go. Lift them out. Angels, here you go. Do a little extra repair once you get rid of the hard objects. You can have invasive beings just being a nuisance in that area. So just say, angels, can you recycle any beings that are messing with this area? Right, good job. So that's good karma windows. So then flow zone is in that same area, but your physical body aura. So if you're fully present, it's the same space, but it's different. It's like your physical body aura back there. And then the flow zone also includes in and around your physical neck. And there's no windows or anything. It's just layers of your physical body aura back there. So you just want it to be flowy. You don't want anything hard. So anything hard, just melt it away with gold light. So including, in and around your physical neck. Melt away anything hard. And, if it's not melting away, just melt cords away from it first. And then melt it away. So melt cords, other people going into the junk, and then melt the junk. And then base of skull points, I'm going to show those. So those are all traditional Chinese medicine meridians, those lines in the diagram I'm showing. And each color represents a different meridian. But we're only, right now, base of skull points going to do the points in the base of the skull. And these dots are little chakras. They're acupuncture points, which are also considered minor chakras. So there's two horizontal lines of these base of skull points. One is at the height of the top of the ear. One is at the height of the bottom of the ear. So even though that middle meridian has 2 points at the bottom line right there, but basically it's a line. So just all those little chakras, they're like oriented this way, right? Because they fit in the meridian and they help the flow within the meridian itself. They don't send it out into an aura or anything like major chakras do. So their job is just to keep things flowing and help in certain really cool ways, but won't get into that. So just repair and unblock each of these so that there's no hard objects stuck there. And your intention again is you want to do what's healthy and gentle to do right now. So I find it easier to just also notice only what's healthy and gentle to clear right now. And those two outermost points on either side in that the greenish blue meridian right there, which is the gallbladder meridian. I wrote down right below all this writing, right below me. It says swoop, shoulder swoop, gallbladder 19 to 21, shoulder swoop GB 1921. That means that meridian, that blue-green meridian, the outermost one that we were just working for base of skull points, that's called the gallbladder meridian. And it zigzags around the side of the head, and then the part that you can see goes straight down, and it goes to the front of there's a point, gallbladder 21, that's right around the front of the shoulder. So it goes 19, 20, 21. So we can unblock all three of those just so that it's a little smoother run, because you don't want to kind of free up the first two but not the third. Then you might feel a little extra pressure on the third because it's not fixed yet. So we're just doing these 3 points and that part of the meridian. I mean, with your intention, you could do the whole meridian, just to the extent that's healthy and gentle if you want. Your whole gallbladder meridian. Just imagine it like a line, like a tube, flowy tube for your gallbladder meridian. You don't have to worry, where it zigzags and where it goes, just beginning to end, just to the extent that's healthy and gentle. Unblock your gallbladder meridian. But especially 19, 20, and 21 points. And we can do just a touch around the shoulders, in the auras around the shoulders. And if you have any invasive beings that are trying to mess with this area, maybe they just got kicked out. Also, the angels, can you recycle all those beings? And just this area all around the shoulders. So we have been doing, let me see. So we have been doing it already, but also the shoulders. auras around the shoulders, really, more than also inside the shoulders. Energy should flow down the neck and down the shoulders and down the arms. Unblock that route. But the aura around the neck and shoulders is probably even more important for the flow. You can unblock the right, you know, around, like from the armpits up, in front and back. All around the neck and shoulders. And a good complement to this is pants blocks. You tell I have a tacky sense of humor. So, oh yeah, I should write that here. Do that. So, these delightful biker shorts models that are probably also airbrushed, so don't feel bad if you don't look just like these models. But that area that is covered by the biker shorts, that's what I call the biker shorts area, or the hot pants area. And we're going to unblock the physical body and the astral body in that area, within it, and also the first and second aura layers around it, right around it. So of the astral body and physical body. So go light through your biker shorts area and unblock within, and including the first and second layers of the aura. You can wiggle your butt as you do it a little bit, just to keep you present. And you can just remind yourself, hey, this is my area. Me, me, me. Me, 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 me. Oh, I should play. Well, no, I'd probably get a copyright strike. There's this song, it's really cute. And it's like most of the song is me, 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 sexy, me, 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 sexy, me, me. It's so cute. So, you know, maybe I'll link to a video with it or something, because I don't want to risk a copyright strike. So let's see if I can. I don't know. I don't know if I will. But anyway, you can make up your own me, me, me song. All right, good enough. So that was unblocking your hot pants area or your biker shorts area, which is a good complement to doing it up here, you know, hips and shoulders, the pelvic area, and then the hips and shoulders, and I'm sorry, the shoulders and neck, they're like a good complement to each other. If you unblock both at the same level of thoroughness, it's very beneficial. Makes it a lot easier to be present. Okay, good job. Woo! So thank you to our airbrushed hot pants models. You're amazing. Yay! Biker shorts unblocking. Woo! Okay. Mm. Hmm. Okay, so there was a section earlier that will be its own little chapter, and it was before the healing started, and it was a big section. I'll call it defining terms, something like that. But there was a lot there. Even it wasn't all review, I promised. For my veterans, like, don't skip that section. It starts out seeming like it's simple review, but then it's really not after that. So, but anyway, so I explained that, we're going to clear trauma blocks in a much more thorough way than usual, in a much more careful way than usual as well. And what I didn't explain already is that it can benefit your sleep. And that's actually the first way I noticed this level of work, as I was looking at people's surveys. Thank you very much for your survey from the last healing of the last set, which was really only a week ago or so. Or was yeah, a week and like 3 days ago. So anyways, I was looking at that, and somebody said, their sleep was much deeper than usual in a good way. And I was looking at, okay, well, what is deep sleep? Like, what is that? And in the past, I've known, like, okay, well, if your body is more mellow, your physical body isn't like irritated, it's easier for your spirit, your astral body, to like go to the astral and not be distracted and keep coming back. So people that are light sleepers and they keep waking up, it could be an astral body problem, but it could also be a physical body problem, that your physical body is just irritated, and so it worries you, and so you keep coming back to check on your physical body and the room around and see what's going on. And so you can't just go and do what you need to do and get the healings you need and kind of get a break. But also a big aspect of deep sleep is your physical body relaxed enough before sleep, so that during sleep, it can clear enough energy blocks, because sleep is like a really good housekeeping thing for your physical body. I mean, scientifically, it is like doing all sorts of things that I'm not going to pretend to know all of them, but like cells and, whatever, like there's actual stuff that happens in your sleep. So it's like medically important to get enough sleep. But on an energy level, your physical body clears energy blocks during sleep that are in your physical body energy system. And so deep sleep, part of deep sleep, when it feels deep in a good way, is that your physical body cleared a lot in your sleep. But like, well, it did a good job. So it didn't keep calling you back all night. And so then when you do wake up, you feel like it's a better fit than it was before, right? You feel like more comfortable, more at ease, more refreshed, more like, wow, what day is it? Wow, I feel really different, as opposed to like, I feel like I didn't sleep at all. Right? So that's part of deep sleep, is helping your body to relax enough before sleep so that your body does effective clearing during sleep. So, that's what got me thinking about, okay, then there's trauma that stays in the physical body energy system. It's not in the astral body energy system. And then I realized, okay, but all trauma, if it happens to you, generally you'll have a version of it in your astral body system and a version of it in your physical body system. So if it happens to you, it's your original trauma, we'll say, then you have these versions, astral and physical, and you have both. And a lot of times people clear the astral body version of it, but they don't clear the physical body version of it. So it affects their sleep. It affects how relaxed their body is. So how transformative sleep can be for the physical body. It can affect immune system, all sorts of stuff, right? So, so first, what we're going to work on is your trauma, helping only healthy and gentle amount, though, you know, because you can really create a bigger problem than you had originally if you're working too aggressively and you do try to clear more than is healthy and gentle for you to clear at one time, right? Your body can only handle so much change at once, even though, like, you could say, well, it's a good change, you know, it's just too much at once. It's still too much at once. So healthy and gentle amount. But first, since it's a different sort of, there are different, slightly different concepts, we're just going to clear your trauma first, and then right after it, we'll do trauma that is really other people's trauma that got dumped in your space. And we'll do that kind of clearing, which is different. You do it a little differently. So, but first we'll do yours. And there's a way to do it so that it's also gentle for other people, which is important because you don't want backlash, right? But again, I already explained this in that defining terms section. So if this is too fast, you know, maybe review that section. But anyway, so we're going to be working on, you know, like the original versions because it's your stuff, right? And just the easy peasy bit by bit way. And we're going to call back copies that you've dumped on other people or that they just took on out of like sympathy. Like, oh, my heart goes out to you, you know, and then they took a copy of your pain, which can happen. So when we call back, we're going to have angels help with that because it's possible that they got so many copies of so much of your trauma that it wouldn't be gentle enough for them to lose all that at once. It would cause too big of an energy shift for their spirit or their body or both, right? So we'll definitely have angels help with that part, the calling back part, in case other people have copies of your trauma, right? And no matter what, throughout all this, we'll be melting cords too. So that just so, you know, because we just want this to be helpful and safe and not upset other people if possible. So, so let's do it. And it's easier to do it than to explain. So don't worry. So we're going to do now. So first, let's do one that's kind of like more trivial, just so we can keep this a little more lighthearted. But then we'll do stuff that's not trivial, I promise. But I did mention in the defining term section that trauma blocks could be even from like an insulting conversation, you know, a conversation that you had with someone where, you know, you got a little triggered or you got a little insulted, right? But it's not a major trauma, right? So we'll just do first something kind of, in a way, it's a little silly that you got so stuck about it, right? Because that's just easier to start with something teeny, right? So imagine your trauma blocks from some insulting conversation. It could be even a past life insulting conversation. It doesn't matter, right? So imagine some trauma blocks that you have because you were insulted during a conversation, right? And just imagine them however you want. You can imagine them, they look like 3 black cookies. They can look like 3 black rocks. They can look like 5 black rocks. They can look just like 1 little rock, whatever, right? So just you're imagining from some insulting conversation that you got stuck on in this or past lives, some relatively minor trauma blocks, right? And imagine what they look like, some kind of shape. So it's not that, you know, not that intimidating. Just give them a shape. And then we're going to melt cords going into them with gold light. So detach any cords that are going into them. Right? And then go ahead and let the gold light melt these melt the blocks. Once you've melted the cords, right? So now the little rocks are gone, right? Representing your trauma from that insulting conversation, right? And now check to see if anybody else has copies of the trauma, right? Those little rocks. So does anybody else have copies? And it could be that the person who insulted you, you gave them a copy and said, how dare you? That's offensive. And you gave them a copy of your trauma blocks. So maybe some people have some trauma block copies of just the ones that you were doing, right? So you could call them back, but if it's too much, you don't want to call back too much at once. So you can make a gold sun or a gold, some kind of 3D object and have it be a magnet, but say, angels, help me to call this back only at a healthy and gentle pace, right? And so since we're dealing with something that's probably pretty minor right now, probably all of it's going to come back into your gold sun magnet or your gold cube magnet, whatever kind of magnet you made. And so if there are any copies that came back, that's fine. And you can just blow up the whole thing, right? Just completely destroy the copies. So that's that. And say it was a bigger trauma, maybe only some of it would come back right now and some would come back later, and your spirit would just subconsciously destroy it later. Because you're already over your version of it, the original version. So your spirit would just subconsciously destroy the copy that came back to you if it had to come back to you later. So anyway, so you did one, right? Good job. Give yourself a congratulatory butt wiggle. Oh, so ridiculous. Just like maybe comb through all your auras with gold light, comb through your grounding. Good job. Pat yourself on the back. Tell yourself you're a rock star. Okay. So now we'll do one that's not so small. Okay. So just imagine someone that you have boundary issues with. Okay. And imagine some of your trauma that is your trauma, but they have a copy, right? And so imagine your a healthy and gentle amount of your trauma. So maybe it looks like, a big black box, or, a couple white boxes or something, But anyway, just imagine that. Okay, so this is your original trauma, but this person you have boundary issues with, they have a copy of it, right? And if you want, you can notice, okay, did you dump the copy in their space, or did they take on a copy out of sympathy? Doesn't really matter, but, in case you're curious. And then melt cords, right, between your original trauma blocks and their copy, right? So don't do anything to them, just in your space. Melt the cords going into your original copies, right? And also notice, because you could have an astral version and a physical version. So there could be, like, say, if it's 3 white boxes, you can also have 3 white boxes in your astral body energy system. So physical body energy system, astral body energy system. Or you may have cleared already the 2 out of 3 of the astral boxes, but there's still 1 left, and then all 3 of the physical body are still there. So just, both your astral body and your physical body version of this original trauma, melt cords, any cords going into it, right? Because you don't want to ruffle anybody else's feathers unnecessarily. So just melt all the cords, and then melt your astral first, the astral version of your original trauma. Maybe take a deep breath, nice butt wiggle. I'm a rock star, woo woo, yay yay. And then your physical body version of your original trauma, again, melt cords going into it from anybody, and then just melt it. If it's 3 boxes, make sure all 3 boxes melt. Okay. And then the thing is, with this, sometimes the other people You can notice, just out of curiosity, were you a thorough dumper in that the other person that has a copy of this trauma, do they have it in their astral body system and their physical body system? So like if it was 3 white boxes, do they have those 3 white boxes in their astral body system and then another 3 white boxes in their physical body system? Or maybe they cleared the astral body version, but you did dump it there. So you can kind of notice that if you want, but that's optional. But the thing is, they may clear it all. When you clear your originals, it might inspire them subconsciously without you actually doing anything or saying anything to them or anything. I think realistically, a lot of people will clear it partially. So say it was 3 white boxes, maybe they will clear like 2 out of 3 astral boxes right away, but then all 3 physical boxes are still there. So again, just do an angel assist gold magnet and just say, angels, help me to only call this back at a healthy and gentle rate, right? Because again, this is your dumped trauma, but they have copies of it. It's your trauma that you dumped into their space or they took on out of sympathy, right? So just gold magnet, but an angel assisted gold magnet, right? And so just say, angels, can you help me to only call this back at a healthy and gentle rate? And it's healthy and gentle rate for them. So that could be a lot slower than you could do, than you would need. So, and whatever comes back, in, however long you want to wait, just blow it up. Okay. And then, the understanding is with that the angels will keep helping and bringing over at a, that particular trauma, they'll keep bringing it over at a healthy and gentle rate so that you can blow it up. So that that trauma isn't sitting, blocking them up on an astral body level and a physical body level forever, or until they clear it, that since you were the one that dumped it or, it was originally your trauma, it's nice if it's, if they clear it at their own pace. Okay. Great. So, and we'll do the same thing, but in a sort of a different perspective, in that at first what I said is, okay, well, think about someone you have a boundary issue with, and then think about some original trauma of yours that they have. And then we did it. So we sort of backwards engineered it. But let's do it this way now. Just think of like some trauma blocks that you have. It's your trauma, but it's just been getting in the way either of your sleep or your immune system or, somehow like really, it would be the most beneficial for you to clear right now and healthy and gentle, right? And so maybe it looks like 8 black boxes or, 5 white full laundry bags, full of dirty laundry, whatever. So what's the healthy and gentle amount of trauma that's yours that would be most beneficial to get rid of right now? And so if it's 5 white dirty laundry bags, notice, okay, are all 5 on the astral, in your astral space as well? And then there's another 5 in your physical body space, or have you cleared it all out of the astral or mostly out of the astral, but not in the physical? So just check, right? And so whatever image that you're using, just check. And then go ahead and melt away cords going into all this original trauma of yours, these original trauma blocks, right? Your astral body version and your physical body version. Melt all the cords. All of them, right? And then since it's your trauma and you've now melted all the cords, you can just blow them up. Blow up all the astral body version and blow up all the physical body version because you've already said, okay, well, this is healthy. This is the healthy and gentle amount. So there you go. And again, you don't have to know who has copies, but probably your partner might have copies if you're in a relationship. Maybe an ex partner might have them. A best friend of yours might have them. A sibling might have them. A parent might have them. So you don't have to, be so thorough. You can just do an angel assisted gold magnet. And just say, angels, help me to call back all the copies of that particular trauma that got dumped or were taken on by others. Help me to call it back at a healthy and gentle rate. you know, and probably a bunch comes back right at once. And then, you know, maybe you could wait like 20 more seconds to see, you know, but then maybe that's all the trauma that's going to come back at this moment, you know, and then more will come back later. So you can just go ahead and blow up all that. Because that was just copies of your trauma that you've already cleared. Right. And then, you know, the understanding is, since it's an angel assisted gold magnet, that the angels will, you know, bring back the rest of those copies, that whoever got them, if it was both astral and physical levels, whatever, you know, but they'll do it at a rate that's healthy and gentle for the people whose space it's in right now. All right, cool. So good job. I think we should do some celebratory butterflies for that one. You're an energy trauma clearing rock star. Go you. Woo, woo, woo. Of course, you can redo that if you want. You know, as long as you keep doing healthy and gentle, it's fine. Keep it light. Maybe add some butt wiggles or something. Make sure to eat your protein, you know. But anyway, that's the idea for when you're clearing your own original trauma. Like it's yours, right? It was something that happened to you, and that's how the trauma blocks were created, right? So, and the new thing about that was we did the we melted cords a lot, but we also did the angel assisted gold magnet. To call back the copies of your trauma that other people have, so that it's called back by the angels at a rate that's healthy and gentle for those other people. All right, cool. Hope that makes sense. You're amazing. Woo woo. I guess I should have. Sorry about that. I didn't change this part. So then this is okay, so now we're going to deal with trauma blocks that are in your space, but it's not your trauma. It was other people's trauma, and they either dumped it in your space or you took it on out of sympathy. Sympathy and empathy, it's kind of like splitting hairs, but you could consider empathy as, you know, like a compassionate understanding of what someone's going through, but with boundaries. Whereas sympathy, you could understand as an unclean way to understand what's someone's going through, like that whole "my heart goes out to you." A lot of times that's they're courting and they're literally taking on copies of your pain, and they're getting all triggered about their matches, and it's just like this big cord fest. You know? So that I mean it's, you know, arguable if that's, but that's how I use the word. So sympathy is the unclean one, where you know, you maybe take on copies, or there's courting involved and energy swapping, and it gets very burdensome for people. People mean well, but it doesn't work well. But anyway, so this is other people's trauma. So what do you do with that? And again, we want to do it in a careful way, right? So that, because we don't want unnecessary backlash out of this, right? We want to become more safe, not less safe. So, you basically look for copies of trauma that's in your space, and you look to see if it's you know, you have the astral version and you have a copy of it in your astral body system and another copy of it in your physical body system, or just one place or the other. And you uncord these trauma block copies. I would call them copies if it's not your trauma, right? Other people's trauma. Another word for that is trauma, you know, copies, trauma block copies, as opposed to original trauma blocks. There's trauma block copies. So if you have somebody's copies in your space, it wasn't something that happened to you. It's just somebody dumped it in your space, or you took it on a copy out of sympathy, right? So, so this is actually simpler in a way, because you don't, but again, it's like, but there's no calling back, you know, like say I know, I know somebody and they got offended by something I said, right? But I feel fine. You know, I wasn't traumatized, but you know, maybe they have like rejection issues, right? So when I said, sorry, I'm not able to do that, that was traumatizing for them because they have rejection baggage. And so it was like a big blow to them, you know, and so they have this trauma from our conversation, but I don't at all, because I was just, you know, technically I didn't, you know, to me, what I was saying was not offensive. I was just like, you know, I'm not able to do that because of this and this reason. You know, I'm sorry, you know, but they still got very offended because they have rejection baggage and from previous things that happened to them they haven't cleared, right? So they have trauma, and they gave me a copy of it. They're like, you made me feel so bad, bam. And they gave me a copy of their trauma, right? And, you know, that can happen a lot, especially with people in the helping field, you know, because people have issues, you know, they had rocky childhoods or whatever, you know, they have rejection issues from, you know, whatever, you know, mommy didn't listen to them enough, and, you know, whatever, right? So then they go to a therapist or a healer or a teacher of some sort, and the teacher has limits and boundaries, but they're like sort of reliving some childhood trauma over it, you know, and it hurts them, right? But it's not that I did something wrong or the helper did something wrong in having boundaries, but whatever. So long story short, it's not your trauma, right? It's the other person's trauma. They are the ones that you know, had they got so triggered and their energy blocked up because of that conversation, right? But then if they dump, then now you have a copy of it, right? And maybe two copies, right? Because there's one in your astral body energy system, possibly, and one in your physical body system if they did a thorough dump. They dumped in both places, right? And maybe you've already cleared part of the astral body one, but not all of it. Maybe you haven't cleared at all the physical body part of it. So anyway, that's what we're going to do, right? So you melt the cords going into your copies of this particular trauma. And then that's it, really. You know, because they need to clear at their own pace. And, you know, so you don't suggest anything. You could say, angels, could you help that person? That's fine. But don't send them gold. Like, don't talk to them about the situation, because it's probably, you know, it's probably still very sensitive for them, and you may get whacked really hard on a spirit level if you you know, like tread on their, you know, like I mean, they obviously were not okay in the first place when this happened, and they, so much so that they dumped. So, you know, just do your melt cords going to your copies, and then melt the copies away, and then just say, angels, can you help that person if you want? But you don't even have to say that part. Just let them clear at their own pace, and you sort of tiptoe away. You don't have to tiptoe away, but you know what I mean. Like, do not then give them a class on abandonment issues, because they'll probably whack the crap out of you. Okay, so there's that. Alrighty. So like I said, this part's easier because you're really only, you know, melting cords and clearing your copies and Bob's your uncle. That's it. Then you could just ask angels to help that person if you want. It's a nice touch. You could do that. Right? So that's easy. So now we'll do it. Oh, right. So first, let's start with something smaller, right? So just imagine some copy of somebody's trauma that you have, but it's not like the worst thing that ever happened to them, right? It's just a copy of like a mid-sized to smaller trauma, but it's a copy. It's not your stuff. It's something that happened to somebody else, right? So just, you don't have to know who it is, but you might have a sense of it, like, oh yeah, this is from my sister. She's such a dumper, you know, or something. And just imagine what the dumped pain, make it look like something that's sort of friendly to you. You know, like maybe it looks like 3 oranges, or it looks like 3 black rocks, or 3 white boxes or something, you know. And then double check to see, okay, is it in my astral body energy system as well? So do you have like, you know, 3 black rocks, those 3 black rocks also in your astral body energy system? And so then now that you spotted, you know, where they are and picked like a friendly way for them to look, you know, just use a lot of gold light and melt cords. Melt cords. That's the first step, right? You don't want to ruffle any feathers. Don't want to upset anybody. Right? So melt the cords. You can say, angels, help me do this safely. Right? Melt the cords. And then once you sense like, okay, my boundaries are good enough with that person, they're not courting here, so they're not going to get any shift when I clear this, you know, and then just go ahead and melt your copies of their trauma. You know, if you have it on the in your astral body energy system, melt that. If you have it in your physical body energy system, melt that. And then you can say, angels, can you help that person? You know, but that's it. Just maybe remind yourself, hey, they need to grow at their own pace, their own timing. You know, that's their decision when they're going to clear their original trauma. All right, see? So that was pretty simple, right? So now we'll do it again, but we'll do it for, you know, a mid-sized thing, maybe not a small thing, you know, or it could be a big thing if you want. But just, it has to be healthy and gentle for you though. Cause like, even, you know, like say, you know, one of your parents, you can't clear all the trauma that they've ever dumped in your space or you've ever taken on through sympathy from them at one time. It would just be too much, most likely. So just healthy and gentle. What's healthy and gentle to clear as far as trauma copies from a certain person that you have boundary issues with? How about that? Right? So pick a person you have boundary issues with, you know, you have boundary issues with them. What's a, you know, healthy and gentle amount of trauma copies you can clear from that person? And make it look like something friendly and easy to figure out. Like it looks like 5 boxes that are black or 5 boxes that are white or whatever, right? And then just, do you have it astrally and physically or just one place? And first step is melt cords, melt any cords from anybody going into these trauma copies that are in your space. Right? Melt all the cords. And then for good measure too, you can, you know, go through your whole space and just melt any cords from that person. Because you don't want them to feel that you're clearing this. I mean, in some sort of invasive way, you know, because they're still cords. So just melt any cords between you and them. And then, okay, so now you know, like the 5 white boxes or whatever, you know, and that you know that they're in your physical body energy system, and then some of them are still in your astral body energy system. So just, since all the cords are melted now, you can just melt the trauma copies, both the astral and the physical. And if they're not clearing properly, just say, angels, help me do this. And if there are any invasive beings, you know, making this overly dramatic and, you know, difficult, because it shouldn't be difficult, Say, angels, can you recycle any beings that are messing with me? And then say, angels, can you help that person and help me to just let them clear at their own pace? And you can notice, are they already starting to clear? Because maybe not, but maybe say if it was like 5 white boxes and you had 5 of them in your astral body system and 5 in your physical body system, but it's just copies of their stuff. So you can see, okay, did they still have, did they start clearing maybe just their astral 5 white boxes? They've started to clear them, and maybe not, and if you can't look without hopping into their head, don't do it. But if you can just stay where you are and just sort of imagine a copy of them out in front of you and just see if it's starting to clear. But that's it. Not your problem. Just, good to not carry other people's burdens. And you have better boundaries with them. Okay, good job. Let's do one more example of that, okay? So just pick, it's not even your trauma, right? It's other people's trauma, but it's so in your way. It's either messing with your sleep or your immune system or your productivity or all of the above or your mental clarity. And it's just copies of somebody else's trauma. It could be from a parent you took on at birth. It could be from a parent you took on when you were 4 or whatever, or from a sibling, whatever, or from an ex-husband, ex-wife, whatever, right? So just healthy and gentle amount of trauma copies that you can clear now, right? And we'll do it in the careful way, right? So just imagine the healthy and gentle amount of trauma copies that you can clear. So it's other people's trauma, right? And it could be from multiple people. Don't worry about it, right? So what does all that look like? Well, does it look like, 6 white boxes or 6 gray laundry bags, whatever, right? But just look for the astral version and the physical body version. So you clear both, right? But before you clear, just melt cords, right? You're going to melt cords going into these trauma copies because you don't want to ruffle any feathers, right? So melt any cords going into the trauma copies that are in your physical body energy system or your astral body energy system. And also just comb through your whole space and with your intention, uncord all the relevant people on any level so that if it's their trauma, they're not going to feel anything as you're clearing it, as you're clearing your copies, right? So just melt cords between you and all those people just by using gold light in your space. Melt all the cords, right? So then go back to those copies, trauma copies that you have. So it's other people's trauma, whatever you decided it looked like, 6 black boxes or whatever, right? And double check all the cords are gone and then go ahead and melt the boxes or blow them up. And it could be the physical body version takes a little longer to clear, the copies in your physical body energy system. You can say, angels, can you help me do this? And you can also say, angels, can you help those people clear at their own pace? Can you help me to have boundaries with those people? All right. That's enough of that. Good job, though. Let's see. Let's do some. I'll give you a thumbs up. How about that? Thumbs up for you. Which also is a reminder, if you could, if you wish, please give a thumbs up to this live stream. Or if it's a video later, please give it a thumbs up. But good job to you. for clearing. First, we cleared your trauma blocks in a careful way. And then we called back copies of your trauma that got into other people's space through angel-assisted gold magnets. And then just now we cleared copies of other people's trauma that you have in your space in a careful way by melting cords to it first and melting cords with other people first. Okay. Good. So, go ahead and let's see. What should we do? No, I'm just looking at a sample person for a second. So you can enjoy the waterfall while I look. I'm just looking to see what's best to do next. Okay. All right. So we're going to do 2 more things and that's it. I think. I think that's it. So the first thing we'll do, let's see. Okay. So layers 1 and 2 of the aura, shoulders and biker shorts. So shoulders and neck area and biker shorts area. We already did this. We did a section. It will be an individual section that you could go right to for shoulder work and an individual section that we did on biker shorts area. So this one will be kind of a quick, the two together, quick, faster. Because I saw that it's gonna just help people process and clear nicely after the work we just did on, the trauma blocks. So that's fine. So just think of your neck and shoulder area and your biker shorts area. I will use that inspiring biker shorts model. So yeah, layers 1 and 2 with the shoulders and neck and the biker shorts area. That's what we're doing right now. You're just unblocking with gold light. So you imagine your neck and shoulder area. first and second aura layers that are closest to the body. And you can do astral body too at the same time, these areas of the astral body, but around neck and shoulders, the top of the shoulders, and then around the biker shorts area, layers 1 and 2. These are the areas that are most likely to get tight. We can also do above the head and below the feet and add that in, because that'll unlock some stagnant energy too and get things moving better. So above the head, layers 1 and 2, and below the feet, layers 1 and 2. Biker shorts area. Layers 1 and 2. Behind the lower back, layers 1 and 2. Which is the same. It's still biker shorts area. Above the head, layers 1 and 2. Then you could just comb through the whole body. And layers 1 and 2 throughout. Excuse me. All right, good job. Good job. Yay! Okay, so now we'll do the next thing I said that we would do. Oh, actually, I didn't say it. Okay, heal the mini yous for this and the next chapter in your life. So this part of the healing is the proactive clearing part. We're not doing, I mean, yeah, this is the most explicitly, okay, we're doing proactive clearing right now part of the healing. We'll do more proactive clearing in the other healings too as well. But technically the clear trauma blocks could be seen as proactive healing. Like if you're going to see the boundary issues person soon, then clearing all those trauma blocks is proactive clearing. But anyway, okay. So this is, we're going to heal the most stuck parts of you right now, and then the most stuck parts of you in the, that are most stuck about the next chapter of your life. Because, okay, I'm explaining now. I'm continuing to explain. I've already been explaining. Okay, so like your next chapter in your life, it could be like big next chapter, but it could be a sort of a moderate next chapter in your life. And on a spirit level, you already know what that is. You just don't know consciously. And a lot of times you're not meant to know consciously. I mean, that's sort of a thing that maybe as a someone working their clairvoyance and their intuition, that might be kind of a foreign or unappealing concept for people. Like, I want to know everything because I want to, Sometimes that can be motivated by fear, fear of the unknown. So you figure, well, if I know it all, I could get ready and it won't be as scary or something, but whatever. But sometimes you're just not meant to know. Like the conscious knowledge of it would be too distracting, or you're just not ready for the conscious knowledge of whatever, right? So this is an easy way to work it without having conscious knowledge. You don't have to worry about it. You don't have to trigger yourself by conscious knowledge. Just, it's proactive clearing for your current situation, but also, what's coming, right? Because on some level, yeah, on some level, and so it could be that on some level you're already freaking out about it. Like a part of you is. You know, most of you could be like, fine, you know, but there could be a little part of you that's much less evolved and is like, no, that's too much, you know, or whatever, you know, even if it's a good thing, you know, part of you could easily freak out about something that's very positive. Yeah, that happens all the time. Called resistance. You can resist the bad things, but you could totally resist things that are helpful to you and beneficial for you, which is funny, like silly. But anyway, so that's what we're going to do. First, we'll heal little mini yous that are most stuck and resistant to your present life. And then we'll heal mini yous that are most stuck and resistant to whatever's coming. And don't let those parts of you freak out, because it could be like the most beneficial, gentle new chapter, but there'll still be a part of you that's completely freaked about it. Which is like, whatever, you know, that's the essence of fear. It's very irrational. It's not logical. So, okay, so that's that. It's easier to do than to say. So let's just do. Okay. So first, this chapter, current life, your current life, right? So just imagine the parts of you that are freaking out, you know, like you can imagine like little miniature yous, you know, so maybe there's a little, you know, if your name is Barbara, you know, there's a little mini Barbara that you imagine that's like furious. There's a little mini Barbara that's scared. There's a little mini Barbara that's like, you know, she can't stop surfing the internet, you know, whatever. Like imagine all the little parts of you that are like the most stuck, and just give them healings. Don't bond with them. Don't be like them. Don't get stuck in sympathy. Just, it's kind of like not your problem, in that you don't need to match that. Just use gold light, bring up red earth energy. You could do a tricolor soak for these mini yous that are freaked out. Right? So bring up red earth energy, bring that back down, bring up orange earth energy, bring that down, bring up yellow earth energy. You could leave up one of the earth energy colors. And just lots of gold light. Just be like, it's okay, it's all right. And there could be invasive beings. They're kind of fueling the freak out. So you could say, angels, if there are any invasive beings messing with these parts of me, can you please recycle them? And make sure you melt cords between these parts of you and other people. And also these parts of you can have, you know, dumped trauma from other people. So it's not even really your stuff that is freaking you out. So if that's the case, just melt the cords to the other people, and then melt the dumped trauma that's freaking these parts of you out. And then you could say, you know, angels, can you help me finish that? So that, you know, all those parts of you are no longer separate and stuck. You just have that energy back, and it's flowing and healthy. Okay, cool. So that was healing mini yous that are freaked out about your present situation. And you could keep doing that. There's probably more, possibly more. And again, keep in mind, you can be freaking out about positive things. Even if it's like, especially if it's positive but unusual and you're just not used to it. You know, we can look at that. We can look, okay, is there still a part of you that's freaked out about something in your present life that's good? You know, are there any parts of you that are freaked out about positive things? And then just heal those parts of you. The angels, can you help me heal these parts of me? Can you recycle any beings that are messing with these parts of me? And then, okay, so then now we'll do the next chapter part, right? So I'll make that more obvious. So, okay, so this is the next chapter stuff. The same process, just for whatever next chapter. So again, you don't have to know what's the next chapter, you know, and especially sometimes there's aspects of it that you're just not supposed to know. It's not beneficial for you to know, whatever. Right. So, but just imagine any part of you that's already freaked out. And again, it can be really not logical, but you know, whatever. So imagine little parts of you, if there are any, that are freaked out about your next chapter in your life. It could be a next big chapter or a next really not that big chapter. And just imagine those parts of you that are freaked out or stuck in some way about it. And just use lots of gold light. Be like, angels, can you help me do this? Angels, can you help me heal these parts of me? Angels, if there are any invasive beings, can you recycle them? Just melt cords between you and other people. So a lot of times what I see is like you're not really freaked out about the change that's coming, but somebody you care about is freaked out about it and they're courting you and therefore you feel freaked out about it, but it's not you freaking out. So just melt all those cords from other people. And then when the energy is no longer stuck and unhealthy, it comes back to you. So see if there's any more to do. Those parts any parts of you still left over, and just angels, can you help me heal these parts of me? All right, good job, good job. All caps, wrap up. We're gonna wrap up now. So just imagine all of you, a copy of all of you out in front of you, which would be your 17 auras. Your physical body and your astral body are inside there, and then your physical body and your astral body connections to the core of the earth, which is your groundings. And just unblock the whole thing with gold light. You can redo your gold buffer zones, which are gold buffers around your physical body and your astral body auras that you create to help slow the rate of aura damage. Maybe a little bit of chakra alignment. Just imagine your major chakras only, your 7 astral and 7 physical along your spine. Yeah, just lots of gold light. Nice big wide band of gold light so that you're also aligning the magnetic field of each of your major chakras. Just so they can kind of sync up and work together better. Check your creative rings, melt cords going into them from other people. Unblock your groundings. You can clear STEBs, stubborn triggered energy blocks. Just make a pile of any energy blocks that are still triggered, even though we've done so much, and just pile them out in front of you. And just you can soak them in red earth energy, melt cords going into these blocks from other people. And then you could blow up the blocks if you're healing yourself, or you can just melt them with gold light. Double check your grounding. Double check your heart chakra. That's in the center of your chest. You have an astral body and a physical body heart chakra. You can imagine them both. You can imagine both of them and in the same place. And unblock them both at once if you want. Or you can unblock them both and check out both of them separately. The fourth chakra is like the feel-good chakra. It helps with motivation, self-love, enthusiasm, gratitude, positive outlook. So, good one. Self-esteem. All right. As we wrap up, just say, angels, can you please help me to wrap up this healing? Angels, can you please help me to have strong family boundaries? And angels, can you help me with proactive clearing for this and the next chapter in my life? All right. Woohoo. So that's a healing. You are a rock star. Yay. Woohoo. So if you have comments about how the healing was for you and or about the theme, you could text chat them right now. I'll try to go through everything quickly as we wrap up. But, you know, if you have feedback about the healing, that could be interesting. Of course, most helpful would be getting the feedback in the post-healing survey. If you're one of the people that I healed, you will be getting a survey in an email. The email will be late tonight that you'll get it. And if you could fill it out tomorrow after a good night's sleep, hopefully. And then I study what people say in their survey, and I read their energy, the people that wrote the survey, and that helps me plan the next healing. Will be in 2 days on Sunday. So I'm checking for comments I have not yet read. Someone says, okay, thank you. Yep. You're welcome. Someone says, hi, hello to you. Welcome, welcome. Someone says laughter emojis, probably because of the hot pants blocks. It does sound sexy. It is technically sexy. Like, you might find that you're a better dancer after clearing your biker shorts blocks. Or you may just enjoy dancing more after you clear your biker shorts blocks. Or, you know, it can translate sexually as well. But it can translate. The reason I devised it actually wasn't for second layer, second chakra sexuality, even though it does help with that, which is fun. But it does help with first chakra, first layer, which is courage, safety, and abundance. So it tends to make a big difference for people, so they are less prone to anxiety attack, like panic attacks or intense anxiety. Because if you already proactively, regularly clear your biker shorts area, it's just easier for you to be present in those, you know, second or first chakra. So then even if you're triggered, you're more likely to just stay there and maybe subconsciously clear. And so therefore it doesn't build and build and build until you really feel, you know, nervous or something. So yes, but it is also for sexual stuff too. Hot pants. Love it. I'm glad you like it. Google that song after this. Yes, I don't know if you'll find it, but I can if people want, you know, post later under it as when this is a video. If you post a request, I will post it. But all I have is like, it's like a fan video of like a Korean actor that somebody made, and it has 3 songs in it, so you have to like wade through the first song, which you might not like as much, but then the middle song in that fan video, it's like a 4-minute video or something, but the middle song is that me sexy me. It's just totally funny. Anyway, okay. Somebody is laughing about something, some emoji about the body. It's good. Somebody says they're in Pleasant Phoenix, Arizona, in the U.S. Thank you for healing me and my spouse. You're welcome. It's my pleasure. Someone says tuning in late from Muckamore, Ireland. Oh, well, my dear, the intro section should be very interesting for you. The intro discussion section, especially the part that is called. Well, it's not timestamped yet, but when it is timestamped, it's called. But it might be worth it for you just to listen anyway till you get to it. It's called the little banner. Even the colorful banner will be called defining terms or something. Defining terms, yeah. But anyway, that should be the first couple terms will seem like yeah, I know. But then keep listening. Keep listening. Someone's amused. I'm glad. Someone says have to sign off soon. Thank you for the healing. You're welcome. Please let me know if you mentioned your friends that got the healing too, how they did. The one with the shorter name, she likes clearing copies of other people's trauma out of her space. She's like, oh my God, I have so much of that. So she's going to do more with that with her angels in her sleep, but she did like it. I mean, she did the whole healing fine, but that part was like kind of the most meaningful part for her is the copies of other people's trauma that she's been carrying, specifically from her mom that she got when she was growing up. The friend with the longer name, what we did towards the end, the heal mini yous that are freaking out about this and the next chapter in your life, that was her favorite part. She's like, that was amazing. She had parts of her that were really freaking out, but that, I mean, yeah, a lot of times some people aren't, they like sort of wall off the parts of them that are freaking out. So it's kind of revelatory, like, oh my God, I have parts of me that are really freaking out, but they're not aware of it because they're, repressing or they're in denial. So, but those parts of you still affect you, just you didn't know. So anyway, that's her favorite part. So, but they both did great. All your people did great. Yeah, everybody did great. Someone says, yay, lol. Good. I'm glad you're amused. Someone says, thank you for healing me. I feel less nervous. Oh, that's nice. I also healed myself and felt my right hand arm heavier while my left felt easier to clear. I'm unsure what it is and it's triggering. I tend to Google symptoms too much. That does not help. I think it's invasive beings. Yeah, I think it's just invasive beings. So just, I mean, I think so if you imagine your right side, I think the most easy thing to do would be to imagine the whole right side of your body and the right side of all your auras, and then be like, okay, get a suspect list, right? Just get a lineup of all the invasive beings that are trying to have you be less present in the right side, and just proactively just get them all out of it. Just angels, can you recycle all these beings? And then just do that a couple times until there's no more suspect. Because you need to be like, part of spiritual badassery is that it becomes known that there are repercussions for screwing with you. Serious repercussions. So if you just stay there and get all triggered and train wreck on Google, there's no repercussions for these invasive beings. You have to, like, as soon as possible, just be like, okay, get your lineup. Angels, can you recycle them? And then look again. Because sometimes it's like, it's just each time a bunch of them get recycled, then you get more present. So then you're ready for more. So your angels will recycle even more. So, just get more present, the right side of your biker shorts, right side of your shoulder and neck, And then again, imagine the suspect list. Angels can recycle all these beings. Just keep doing that because you need to, there has to be repercussions, not to you, the invasive beings, right? So that's it. You have to have kind of like a fearless vibe. Yeah. Okay, hope that helps. Thanks, Janet. I've had deeper sleep lately. How did your spouse do? Is he still on step 2 of mini midlife crisis? uh, I probably should have never used that term with you because that term is like burned into your mind now. That's the problem with a reader. It's like you say stuff because that's how it looks, but then the person's like, ah. So you have to, ideally, you'd be like, not only say what things look like, but you say what things look like that are in a way that is lighter. So I could have found a lighter way to say it so you wouldn't be like, oh my God, he's in a midlife crisis. But you do tend to fixate anyway, so. But okay, so a lighter way of what he's going through is just, he's doing house cleaning. How about that? He's doing house cleaning because it's like, it's like, if you have like a workspace and you haven't cleaned it for a long time and you've just been like, I can get away with not cleaning it. I'm just going to put these folders over here. And then I'm going to work a little more. And then I'm going to put these folders over here. And, sooner or later, it looks like a hoarder room because you have too much shit that you put aside, And so that's kind of, now you're going to get stuck on hoarder. That I use that phrase. It doesn't look like a hoarder room, but I'm just sort of exaggerating for humor's sake. But there's just too much that he's been avoiding, that he hasn't figured out, that he doesn't have clarity on. And so that's, that's why I use that word midlife crisis, because it's like, it's just, to a point where it's in his way and he knows it and he's working through it. So it is what it is. It's not the end of the world. He did like it though, the ceiling. The copies. He had a lot of copies from, various women in his past and present life. A lot of copies of their trauma. So since I ended up healing, you thanks to your generosity on his behalf, I healed several women in his life in this healing. So So on both ends of it, he benefited, yeah, so. I mean, he's still in that room cleaning phase, but the piles got less high for sure with his healing. So that's good. Yeah, so that's that. He's making progress. Are you in all your chakras? Yes, you are. You could work your left side of your biker shorts area more and your left side of your shoulders and neck more. That could be nice. So then you'd be even more comfortable. And you and your mom have been throw dumpers with each other. So if you have extra motivation beyond just left side shoulders and neck unblocking and left side biker shorts unblocking, then you could definitely redo those sections, the doing sections on clearing your trauma and clearing other people's trauma. As it relates to your mom specifically, and as it relates to your spouse specifically. I mean, basically anyone could redo those sections and, just not having anyone in mind, but also you could do it with having a certain boundary issue person in mind as you do it. Someone does that. I never know exactly what people mean by this hand thing. So you could put that in the chat. What does the hand thing mean? Like, it seems like it means, you know, you're awesome or something, but I'm not ever positive like what that's supposed to mean. So if someone could bring me up to speed on that one, that would be nice. But I assume it's something very positive, so thank you. Someone says, hello, the healing for me was fantastic and peaceful until the last 10 minutes, and then a burst of anger hit me, and I'm gonna try and shake it off. Holy crap, it's strong. It's not a being. I think it's just, there was some, you were clearing somebody's trauma copies subconsciously, but you didn't melt the cords first. And so it was like your mom's trauma copies, and you were trying to blow them up, but she still corded to them. And so what that does is it sends her a blast of energy as you're trying to blow up your the trauma copies that you have. And she was not fond of getting energy blasted through her trauma. So that's, you know, that's that. So obviously you did it accidentally. But, you know, yeah. So you can imagine whatever trauma copies you were trying to clear, and then just melt the cords between you and those people first. And you can even ask the angels, angels, help me melt all cords between me and these people first. That way you can melt the trauma and not get the wax. So yeah, you didn't get it from the walkthrough part that we did. You were kind of riffing subconsciously afterwards and during the wrap up. So just remind yourself, I'm going to let my angels do this in the most gentle way possible. You know, that way you're not, because if you have somebody's trauma copies, chances are they're corded to their trauma, right? So you're connected to their trauma. And so it's like a sort of a careful thing you do where you want to disconnect from their trauma first, and then you want to get rid of your copy, right? Disconnect from their trauma, disconnect from them in all ways, so that, you know, your little poof of blowing it up is just within your space. It doesn't travel into their trauma in their space. Anyway, that's what happened. So yeah, you want to repair your aura now. You didn't get chakra damage because your aura is really flowing right now, so you only got aura damage. But yeah, so repair your aura and unblock both sides of your grounding, because one of your side of your grounding is blocked now. Yeah, you should be okay. Noah says, thank you for the healing. 50 degrees in Michigan. Thank you for the weather report. Is it sunny or cloudy? Inquiring minds want to know. Oh, and if you're in the US, I guess I want to try to not trigger people, but I guess it's not possible. So I voted. Fun fact, I voted. We get ballots mailed to us in Washington State, which is so easy and convenient. And so, you know, I just looked online. There's like a progressive Washington State progressive, you know, voters or whatever, and it's some website, and you put in your address and it'll give you like a custom thing, all the progressive choices for the whole up and down the ballot. It's like super easy. So I voted and we already sent it in. So I would it's just a reminder, if you are choosing to vote and you live in the US, now would be that time. Or, you know, if you have to go in person, you know, whatever, soon. But now is this time of year where you would vote if you chose to, and I'm just encouraging people to vote if they want to. How about that? But I love you either way, regardless of how you vote and if you vote. But yeah, that's that. I feel hot and refreshed, like I've just returned from a sauna, but the legs and pelvis feel too compressed. Thanks for the healing. I learned a lot today. Yeah, so just a little extra unblocking, especially on the left side of your hot pants area. And you could do left side of neck and shoulders at the same time, or kind of alternate back and forth, but just, yeah, just a little bit like front left, side left, a little extra to get in there. In there, that little extra bit. Melt cords from that area. I don't think you have any invasive beings in the way at the moment. It's just a bunch of little blocks and cords. All right. I'm glad you learned a lot. And yeah. Someone says, I'm not sure if I felt any of the effects during the healing, but that's not atypical for me. Yes. Good point. I did want to mention that actually. That not everyone feels results of the healings right away. Some people, even veterans, they only feel results like the next day. Some people, it's so subtle. They're just like, well, I'm really productive like 3 days later or something, or, you know, whatever. It's just, it varies for people. Some people don't feel results, but it's good for me to know that in your survey. So if you don't feel different, that doesn't mean don't fill out the survey. Because there could be some reason, or if you feel worse, you know, it's usually not because of the healing, but it's good for me to look anyway and see what happened to you that you feel worse. You know, who whacked you or whatever, you know, what's going on. So anyway, yeah. So it looks like you did great. You could do more of that. It's very relevant for you and your both your parents as far as like the copies of the pain. Your parents aren't thorough dumpers. Like most of the time they only dump into your physical space, but it's good to double check either way, you know, check both astral and physical. But you do have a bunch of dump pain from them, which you could do at a healthy and gentle pace, you know, the way we did it, like melt the cords first and melt the copies of their pain and only do it at a healthy, gentle pace. Yeah, but definitely melt all the cords first. You have dumped into their space as well, so you could do the other end of the exercise that we did first, whereas, you know, you melt a healthy and gentle amount of your own trauma blocks, and then you use an angel-assisted gold magnet to call back the copies of your pain that you dumped in your parents' spaces at a healthy and gentle rate for them. Anyway, that's all part of the healing. But you could work it more. And if you know that you're not motivated to do it consciously, just be like, angels, help me work on this as much as I need to. All right. Somebody says, you helped me clear out a lot that I didn't even realize was ready to go. I was holding a lot of anger and frustration in the beginning, but now super sleepy, lighter, and more peaceful. That sounds good. I think the super sleepy is not exactly that you're blocked up. It's that you're doing a big upload to your Akashic records. So you're just like sort of letting go of some stuff that you don't need anymore, that then your angels file away in your Akashic records, your personal Akashic records. So, and it seems like your angels want you to take a nap. I don't know if that's practical or safe. Like if you're driving, obviously do not take a nap. If you know, you just don't have the time today, then it is what it is. But yeah, it seems like your angels would love if you could take a nap. But if that's not possible, you could just open your third chakra back up, you know, third chakra right below your sternum bone. There. Unblock that more. Maybe put some cold water on your face or something. Wake yourself back up. Someone says, thanks, Janet. Feeling pretty tired mid-post healing. Anything my angel... You actually also are doing a big upload right now. Your Akashic records. Anything my angels would like me to work on. Thanks again. And not that you have to do anything about the big upload. That's a good thing. Pretty tired. And for context, you often feel tired. But sounds like you feel extra tired. Yeah, I mean, if you have the motivation, they're really digging this healing for you. You know, the clearing other people's trauma and clearing your own trauma and all that, especially between you and your spouse, because there's a lot of that. And you're not a thorough dumper. Like, you do dump definitely into his space, but it's only in his physical space, not his astral space. But he's a thorough dumper usually with you, so he dumps into your physical and your astral body space, which is fine. Doesn't mean he's evil or anything. It's just his tendency. So yeah, the more you do that, the less like linked to each other's pain you would be, and so it would be easier for you to communicate with each other without triggering each other so much. So if you're motivated, you could do more of that consciously. You know, once the timestamps are in, you know, the little chapters, it should be quick to do. If you're not motivated consciously, just say, okay, I'm going to let my angels help me do as much of this as I need on a subconscious level. But yeah, they really like that the main sort of meat and potatoes of the healing that we did today, which was the clearing your trauma and clearing other people's trauma out of your space. Both for the sort of marital harmony concept, but also for the allowing your physical body to be more relaxed so that your rest and sleep is more helpful to your physical body. So it's more like it's sort of twofold reasons why they like it for you. Someone says, thank you, Janet. How do we clear most in astral and little in physical body? Oh, you're saying why? Yeah. Would our subconscious guide us to more clearing? I had hard time coming back to first chakra this morning after time with friends last night. It's just typical that people, because your astral body is you. And so it's just like an intuitive default that when you clear something, that's where you're going to clear it first. And then, and two, sometimes people clear from a sort of an out of body place. Like, one example is like, say you do therapy, psychotherapy, but you're not very centered when you do it. So you kind of tune out and you're like thinking about what happened to you and you're thinking about it in your mind. Or if you journal, but you're not really present in your legs and thighs and your biker shorts area, you're kind of like, you pop out a little and you meditate or think or journal or do your therapy appointment. You're only clearing out of it your astral body and your astral body system. You kind of left your physical body behind, you know. And a lot of people do that. They feel peace when they they pop out, they clear there. It's quick to clear, and they feel peaceful. So if you feel a lot more peaceful when you're like half tuned out, that's because you keep forgetting to clear the trauma out of your physical body system too. And so it's a deeper, more thorough way is you clear in both places, because then you can be more present and manifest better and have a better immune system and be more present and more courageous, and you have less shitty symptoms, you know. So it just is, that's just the way it works. You know, it's just easier to clear on an astral body level. You can clear in your sleep and, you know, but physical body, to clear the copy out of your physical body, you kind of have to go out of your way to do it. It's easy, but you know, it's an extra step that most people don't get to. The whole friends for chakra this morning, yada yada. Yeah, it just looks like you picked up a couple invasive beings from whatever. I don't know if you went to their house or you went out or something, or you just picked up the invasive beings from their energy field. But just a couple. There was a little white, you know, in your lower back on your left side and around your first chakra that you didn't catch. There's a couple invasive beings. So you, think they're all gone now, but you can unblock your biker shorts area a little bit extra, especially in back and on your left side. Back left and side left. I think the beings are gone now. I just asked the angels to recycle the last couple. Someone says, thanks so much, Janet. Feeling a lot better than earlier about my trauma, but also feeling shame about being a dumper. Oh, you don't have to feel shame. Most people dump, you know. Dumping is probably the default. I mean, that's why people have problems with family boundaries so much, because there's so much freaking dumping. That it's like, and then the courting is like, you know, happens right after it. It's like dump cord, dump cord, dump cord. Then everybody's all tied to each other's shittiest days and shittiest moments. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think, yeah. How would you clear your shame? I mean, yeah, just, you know, everybody dumps. It's not a good thing to do, and you can learn to dump less, much less. And you can have friendships where dumping is really rare, because you're both really careful about it. But you could just, you know, but that you don't want to have to like only interact with, you know, the 0.0001% of the planet that never dumps. You know, it's better just to get over it and get good at clearing, and you know, don't worry about it. Was I reading the Wright that my dad's family was taking me to a weird astral place? Oh, maybe I think you're referring to a survey that you wrote. Yeah, you were right. But you have past life agreements with a couple of them. So I think that's why it was like you weren't able to just, that's why you went with them. So if you just clear any unhealthy agreements with anybody in your extended family, I think that would clear it up. So you imagine the unhealthy agreements like a stack of papers. You say, angels, help me clear these unhealthy agreements. And is it okay to clear all these right now? And then your angels, any that are still there, yes, that's a yes. And then just use gold light and melt them all away and just say, angels, help me do this. Okay. Hope that helps. Someone says, thank you for the healing, Janet. You are welcome. I will watch the intro right now and then watch the full healing tomorrow. Much appreciated. You're welcome. Okay. Oh my goodness. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get through all these. Thank you for the healing, Janet. I'm feeling pretty focused after the healing, but also feel like I'm coming down with something. Yeah, I think that's because you're coming down with something. I mean, sometimes your body goes through stuff, and yes, you can help it with energy healing, and sometimes then you don't get sick at all, which is awesome, and obviously that's preferred. But so you could, if you want to try that approach, you know, try to clear it so that you're balancing your body enough so that maybe it can get better without actually, you know, significant sickness symptoms. Maybe just like that CV23 point that we did on the last healing, and the stomach, I think it was like 9 to 12 right here. It was in the last healing. I can post it in the chat. Ha ha. I learned a new trick. I mean, I knew other people did it. It's just I had a mental block. I never did it myself. I'm going to look up the the last healing that we did, and I'll link it in the chat just for people watching much later when it's not that convenient to find out what the frick the last healing was. So I think we did it in this one. I think my computer's not amused that I'm trying to do 2 things at once. Maybe it was the one before this one. Maybe this is why I haven't done this before, because it takes too much time. Yeah. Okay, good. So it was 2 healings ago. We did some acupuncture points in the throat that could be helpful for anybody feeling some throat issues or immune system issues. So that is it's October twin set healing 1 of 2 that I just linked above. I just linked in the chat. Specifically the section on CV 23 and stomach meridian points 9 through 12. Okay. Hope that helps. Someone says, I've also been doing a lot of mind garden clearing. I love mind garden clearing. Anyone wants to do mind garden clearing, just search Janet Wright mind garden and you should find some good options. They'll be within big healings, but then you can look and find the chapter that we do mind garden and you could do it. So I don't think I have a standalone mind garden video at this point. I have these weird overhang things on either side of my garden. What are those? I've been clearing beings and lounge areas off, but they're still there. They're from your sister. Yeah, I think if you uncord her from those weird overhang things and then look for a part of your garden that she can visit, which you don't want. You don't want someone to be able to access your garden. So just look, there's like a hole in the fence and there's like a whole section of your garden that she normally hangs out in. So just, like repair everything, like wash her out of your garden, melt the cords to the overhangy things, repair the hole in the fence of your mind garden and just, heal that part of your garden that she hangs out in regularly so that she's not there anymore and she's not welcome there and her junk is not there anymore. But yeah, it has to do with your sister. I think you couldn't clear it because she was in your garden kind of holding it in place. So it says, can I ask how I'm doing with healing my wounded inner children in regard to career and money? Yeah, I don't, I don't think you need to do inner child healing on that anymore. For now, at least you work it in the way that the last section we did in this healing right before wrap up, we did heal mini use for this and the next chapter in your life. So if you okay, so you sort of have the theory that, okay, well, the next chapter, I want the next chapter of my life to be, more beneficial as far as career and money, or I want it to represent progress with career and money. And then look at the parts of me that are that freak out if the next chapter is, very different as far as career and money. You know that your angels keep mentioning adventure. And I know that your angel suggested, well, I read that your angel suggested, like international travel as far as like work involving international travel. And you have some parts of you that really freak out about that. I'm not saying you must do that, but it just seemed like your angels want you to heal those parts of you that are most freaked out about the idea of having significantly more adventure in your life. Because it's like your angels would really like you to be way more adventurous in your daily life. Like as far as lifestyle, location, you name it. It's sort of like your parents kind of keep you much more moderate than like kind of what your higher self wants you to be in this life. It's like they've sort of toned you down. It's like you have a sort of a wild side that's more your power and, that adventure-y side of you. And they're like, we want peacefulness. You want peacefulness. Peacefulness is healthy. Peacefulness is safe. And so they're kind of like, they keep dousing the flames of your adventurous side. So maybe you could look at like the opposites of that, like heal the most adventurous parts of you, imagine the most adventurous parts of you and heal those parts of you, just so, I mean, they may need healing, but not so much. It's more that you get acquainted with the most adventurous parts of you. And then imagine like the least adventurous parts of you and heal those parts of you too. So just kind of work that contrast, the most adventurous parts of you, the least adventurous parts of you, and just keep working that and being aware of that. And of course, wash your parents out of both sides of you. Hope that helps. So yeah, it's more about it being adventurous, and that ushers in the new growth and change in both areas, career and money. Someone says high five. Oh, it means high five. Oh, the little emojis with the hands. Oh, that's cool. Okay, thank you. Someone says, hello, feeling pretty burnt out lately. Was wondering how I did this healing and what I can do to improve family boundaries. I think the hand thing is yes. See, different people think different things about it. Well, yes. High five, yes, yes. Okay. Burnt out lately. I wonder if you're running any Kundalini. You seem like you're not running your Kundalini. Maybe because sometimes if it runs too much, then you could feel like jittery and maybe you have sleep issues. So maybe you just like shut it off completely for a while, but then you forgot that you can like keep it on low too. So your Kundalini chakra is right below the first chakra, and red is a good color for both of them. I have a Kundalini playlist. I'll link that below later. That just has different videos that I've made about Kundalini. But Kundalini is a body energy, so you only have a physical body, Kundalini chakra, and when it's fully revved, it can be a sexual energy, but when it's moderately, generating energy, it can be just more of a charisma and a peppiness and an awakeness. So that could be part of what you've been missing lately. And also your fourth chakra too seems a little like it's not generating enough energy. Like it's kind of corked up in the front and the back too much. So you could just intuitively unblock your fourth chakras enough, physical and astral body enough, so that it can make enough energy. Because you want a lot of volume of energy, fourth chakra generating a lot of volume to fill up your fourth layers. Because then you feel motivation and enthusiasm and stuff. But I think between Kundalini and that, that would be enough pep for anybody. So I would say work those two things. Someone says it means thank goodness to me. LOL. That's funny. So the hand emoji means thank goodness to you. That's very funny. So I guess it's not so weird that I had no idea, because it means different things to different people. Okay. Someone says, oh, it means yes, the celebrating. Like celebrating. Cool. Yeah, like a high five. High five. Ooh. Slowly but surely starting to feel better, but for some reason, I keep smelling smoke, like cigarette smoke right now, even though no one is smoking in the house. Yeah. Yeah, that's one of your angels. I have an angel that makes me smell rose sometimes. You can have different angels that communicate with you in different ways. I know you have ear ringing sometimes, and sometimes that's not an angel, especially if it's keeping you awake. It's not your angel. But you could have a little ear ringing that is very moderate just sometimes, and that could be an angel trying to get your attention. Yeah, so I just healed you. So in the healing, of course. You seem okay. Like you don't have any chakra damage. You still have a lot of energy wrapped around your lower chakras. Like people that you're kind of linked up with them quite a bit. I don't know if other people are really aware of what you go through. Like, sometimes if you have symptoms that are kind of triggering for other people, like you can have a symptom where people are like, oh, well, good luck with that, but you can have a symptom where people are like, oh my gosh, that sounds terrible, and then they kind of cord your energy blocks out of like a sort of a messy sympathy. So I think that's why you have some people so that hot pants diagram that I was showing, work that more, like that area, in front and inside and in the back, and just lots of gold light, and just imagine like untangling yourself from everybody else. Just be like, okay, this is my baggage. It's not like a community discussion board, it's like you want flow there, but worst case, at least you want your baggage, but nobody else linked to it. You know what I mean? Like it's not supposed to be like a big group hug here. I mean, you could have an intertwining with somebody during consensual sex that's pleasant, but 24/7, that would drive anybody nuts, and this is not that. This is just people that that have sort of a messy sympathy with some of the symptoms of your life, So just use lots of gold light. You can use gold sandstorm, you can use gold fire, gold water, gold energy. Some people prefer like thinking of it in a different way, but just your hot pants area all around, especially in front, and just wash everybody out. This is not like a discussion thing. Don't like have people touring your pain. Just it's all for you. Just melt everyone away, because you want to be able to click more in to your chakras and just have some like that inner stillness. Inner stillness is a funny concept because obviously you want flow, but inner stillness means like it's like a lack of chaos within you. So hope that helps. So yeah, hot pants area is really good for you if you could keep on blocking there, like in and around there. And if you could do any stretching of your hips and your thighs and all that, just keep working in there, because the more you're here, the less you're prone, the less people are overwhelmed by anxiety and stuff. Because if you're here, you're kind of rooted here, then when you get a little block, you just subconsciously clear it, as opposed to getting more and more and more blocked until you have all these symptoms and you can't sleep and you know. So yeah, hot pants area and grounding. Your grounding right now is excellent, but you know that's because you just got the healing. So you know, later tonight, tomorrow, you know, you could just unblock your grounding. You know, there'll be a little grounding chapter that we did if you need a walkthrough. But yeah, grounding and hot pants area would be the recipes, the easiest ones. But yeah, Smokey's just your angels. They're trying to be like, we're with you, we love you, we can do this. So yeah, it's angels. It's nothing spooky. Someone says, also, is it okay that I start getting really furious at and almost resent this whole healing? Oh, I do love you. For you, that's not unusual, though. I mean, if we're honest here, it's not unheard of that you get furious at me specifically as I'm teaching you stuff. So, is it okay? Sure. um, yeah, it's just resistance. And sometimes you get caught up in invasive beings like distracting you with different emotions, you know. So if it's extreme like that, then that's kind of silly and unnecessary and probably not you. You know, if it's just kind of anger, like she's a bitch, you know, but you can say it and feel it in kind of a moderate way, then that could be just you. Like some repressed anger got triggered, but not a lot. And so it's really you, you know, so you just unblock a little and go on with your day, right? But if you're like, oh my God, this is ridiculous, then, you know, you probably, you know, maybe work a little bit back here, you know, get more repaired in your good karma windows, you know, get uncorded in your creative rings. You have some external energy that's wiring you to make the anger extreme like that, you know. But if it's moderate and it's like, man, you know, sometimes she's a bitch, then maybe that's just some resistance that you have, some avoidance that you have, but it's just you know. So so I'd say first do a little bit of safety check. Like you can imagine all of you, and then imagine if there are any invasive beings trying to hype you up, and just get them recycled. Do that a couple times so that you're much more moderate about everything, and then, you know, just get them blocked and work your, you know, I think you just got whacked a few times, and then some beings are kind of amping you up. Yeah. So yeah. I don't know what to say about that. hope my advice helped. But yeah, good karma windows, grounding, or repair. You know, you're mad possibly at me, but I didn't do it. I'm innocent. Someone says, hi, Janet. I'm just tuning in. How is my 18-year-old doing? She was crying yesterday about editing her college application. Oh, I cried about college applications. But for me, it was more of an invasive mother issue. For her, it was not an invasive mother issue. For her, it was like, yeah, it wasn't your fault. I mean, you know, fault is heavy, but it wasn't you. You were also, she'll be an election judge in the thick of things. Jeez. Angel protection needed. Yeah, she has a lot of angel protection already for the election stuff. So that's cool. Her angels like her doing that, actually. I mean, I don't know when the deadline is, you know, for her college applications, because the thing is, she's not finished with it on Inner Sleep. And so if she forced herself to write it right now, it's not going to like come out right. It'll be too hard. So if she has another even day or two to like finish them, that would be better. Because then she can finish it in her sleep. Because I think whatever trauma got triggered, she did clear in this healing. So then she should be able to get the rest finished in her sleep and then wake up and finish it in the body. So it should be easier. Yeah, it was just some past life trauma that got triggered while she was trying to say things and communicate. But this is a very timely theme for her because, you know, college applications, they trigger that whole, the next chapter in your life baggage. So this is a great theme for her. Cool. It says, I really am desperately needing healing now. If you could please pray for me. Well, I mean, okay, angels, please help this person. But, I mean, more of what I do, because, you know, I just did that, but that's not really my specialty. What I do is I help you to heal yourself. But I don't know if you're in the mood for that kind of thing, you know? I mean, you can just say, I'm going to let my angels heal me. You could say that, like, and write it down if you want, if you think you're going to forget it. But, you know, if you let your angels heal you, because everyone has their own angels, but the problem is stress gets in the way, you know? So, stress accidentally forms like a wall in between you and your angels, and then they can't heal you. So you can imagine breaking down any walls between you and your angels so that you can get the full benefit of your angels who would already be trying to heal you. I hope that helps. Someone says, things seem to be going in a positive direction with my daughter. Oh, good. Thank you for guidance and healings. You're welcome. Been under a lot of lack of harmony recently. Hopefully today's healing will set me on the right track. Yeah, you can work your hot pants area more. Because it seems like things get tangled up there, like cords from other people. Suddenly getting a headache on my left side. This keeps happening, and it takes a while to get rid of for whatever reason. Trying to view damage in hot pink, so I see everything. Thanks a lot for your feedback. Yeah, just do a suspect list of beings. You know, and don't just work your head on your left side, work your whole left side of your body too at the same time. Like, you know how we work shoulders at the same time we work hot pants area? So do that, but like head, shoulders, hot pants area, knee, you know, the whole left side. I mean, you can work everything, but I think if you work one side, that might be a little more productive. Because if a being's trying to mess with your head and then you clear them out, you know, you could be down there. So if you just think, okay, any being messing with anywhere, you know, have them recycled and then keep unblocking your whole left side or whatever side you're working on. This is, I thought the hand sign was about sending healing. It confuses me too. Yeah. Anyway, emojis. I've been feeling pretty pessimistic for a while, so thank you for the confirmation on the 4th chakra. Yeah. And also a shell of myself. I used to be much peppier in the Kundalini chakra was a good tip. Yeah. Yeah, work those two for a while. You might like that. I think you will like it. So this is, hi Janet, for sure mom and I are double dumpers. Funny. But I don't want to remove any of my dumps from her space because she is so volatile. The slightest move, even by the angels, will have her whack me. Yeah, so watch the full healing. You'll understand it better if you watch the thing, because there's a very careful way. And in the case of you and your mom, it would be like bomb disarming. But yeah, it's you can watch the whole thing without doing it and then do it if you want, you know, or sleep on it and meditate on it, whatever you need to do, you know. But yeah, we did it in a way that is more detailed than usual, especially for situations with the double thorough dumpers. Someone says, thank you, you're welcome. Okay, great. So done. You guys are amazing. I'm going to show you my poor dog who absolutely has to go outside, so I have to end the stream. He's very spoiled. It's just that he's wanted to go out for a little bit now. I can tell. But mommy keeps talking. Damn it. Mommy needs to stop talking and take me outside. So I'll film him just for a minute, or half a minute even. And I'm going to take him right out. And end the stream. Okay, so here he is, my poor dog who has to go outside. Izzy, come here. Come here, come here, come here, come here. There you go. What a good boy. What a good boy. So that's both of my boys. That's Izzy, our dog, and Smokey, our cat. All right. Okay, so as you can see, I gotta go. You're amazing. Have a good morning, afternoon, evening, whatever's best for you, whatever's next for you. And I will see you in 2 days on the Sunday healing. And for the schedule of everything that's coming up, check my website, jwhealing.com. jwhealing.com. Okay, bye. Oh, let's end with some butterflies. How about that?